All right, and we are live. Welcome, everybody, to another episode in the Worldwide Wednesday podcast. I'm your host, Sovereign.
And I'm your host, Shiny, with a missing voice.
Yeah, very eventful episode today. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff, but something that we neglected to talk about last week is that we crossed the 30 subscriber mark.
Yay! Thank you, everyone.
Yeah.
30 subscribers. That's awesome. We've been doing this since October, so this is what, 5 months now?
At least, yeah.
Yeah, 5 months and 30 subscribers. We're doing really well, so I want to thank you guys. Thank you for all the support. The issue with segments has become a lot more difficult. Need now to upgrade hardware to support the amount of memory it takes to hold all these streams.
Yeah.
So we will eventually start getting these things done. And if anyone wants to help out with editing, please contact us at the email that we have, shinypokemon.sovereign@gmail.com.
So, with that being said, let's go ahead and get on to our first media segment of the night.
Yes, so our first media segment, I think we should do the shorter one.
No.
You don't think so?
No, we got to start off with the big one.
Okay, we're starting off with the big one. So our first media segment is, of course, our review of 2022's The Batman.
Yeah. So, first thing out of the way, this movie was amazing.
Oh, yeah. I absolutely love this movie.
Yes.
In my opinion, probably the best superhero movie we've gotten since Joker, which in my opinion was probably the best comic book movie of all time.
You really think so?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm in a similar boat. I think that this is probably on par with The Dark Knight. I think that a lot of what I've been hearing online is people feel that The Dark Knight is a better movie cinematically, but this is a better Batman.
Yes.
The
Dark Knight is a better popcorn flick, but this is a better Batman flick.
Or not even just a popcorn flick, as far as analyzing it critically.
I feel like this movie, when the critical analysis will come out, will be just as, if not more so, than The Dark Knight.
So I want to get into praising this movie. Honestly, what pushes this movie is the cinematography.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We had a discussion off stream about the lighting, and the lighting was just spectacular. Honestly, just the one easy example from the trailer is the one where he gets shot at in the hallway right before the climax.
Which makes sense because Gary Fraser, he also did Rogue One, and so you can clearly see the inspiration from the Darth Vader scene in Rogue One in this scene where he's fighting Falcone's men.
Yeah, this movie really does like to handle its lighting fairly well. To bring up an example of dark lighting gone wrong, 2 Star Wars references and 1 Batman segment. We got Solo, who its lighting is not the best. I mean, I still consider it a very good movie,
but
the lighting is literally the one thing keeping it from a solid.
Yeah, but this movie, its lighting is amazing.
Yeah, because there's no artificial lighting in there whatsoever that you can tell.
Yeah. The movie allows it to literally be dark.
Yeah.
It's not afraid to let scenes be dark and muggy, because that's what a city like Gotham is. It's New Jersey. Literally. So, it's dark and muggy and dirty and disgusting and New Jersey.
Yeah, without a doubt. And that also helps with the setting as well. Going into Gotham's setting. It's definitely somewhere you don't want to live.
Oh, yeah.
Because one thing that the Nolan movies struggle with quite a bit is setting Gotham accurately instead of what its approach, which is realistic.
Yeah, so the biggest thing in Batman media is that Gotham itself is a character. The city of Gotham is just as much as a character as Batman or Joker or whoever. And the Nolan movies really missed out on that because for a lot of the times, Gotham looked like Chicago.
Yeah.
But in this movie, Gotham has its own identity.
Yeah, because
it doesn't feel like, even, in my opinion, Joker failed to really capture.
You really think Joker failed on that front?
that I could be biased because I was born in New York City and I grew up in New York City for a time, and so I instantly recognized all of the New York places, which kind of took me out of it from seeing it fully as Gotham and not as New York.
Yeah.
Like the stairs, the infamous stairs, is real in New York City, and I've seen it. So it's kind of like took me out of it. But for this, despite seeing the clear New York inspirations, it felt more Gotham.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess I can see your point there because I mean, in both, I kind of disagree, and I do think Joker does a good job with that. But this movie definitely takes it a step above.
Yeah,
Like in the Nolan movies, you wouldn't mind living in Gotham except for the fact that it has terrorist attacks every 3 or 4 years. But in this one, in this movie, you can tell like there's crime rampant all throughout the city. Like for the past 2 years,
yeah,
Batman's been fighting crime.
yeah. And the thing is that the movie starts out with the criminals. We start out with the Riddler killing Mayor Mitchell. Then, right afterwards, we're seeing someone robbing a convenience store, and another person graffitiing the bank, and then a group of people attacking someone at the subway platform. We see the crime happening independent of Batman,
Yeah,
which really, really works world building wise, in my opinion.
and
Because you
also
also, yeah,
it also makes you think like, yeah, he does kind of have to choose his criminals, like he says in the, which is, albeit it's a new take that we're not used to, but it makes sense.
yeah, it makes sense. Like, the reality of the situation is that if crime is so big in Gotham as we're told it is, it makes sense that Batman probably isn't going to stop a convenience store robbery, or he's not going to stop a graffitiing of a public building, but he is more likely to stop someone getting jumped,
Yeah,
as that's a more. I mean, the Robin convenience store is violent, but in the context of the movie, the jumping was an explicitly more violent crime,
or
thus
not,
would warrant his attention more.
and not even that. I would feel like the association of like it being a gang group, like they all are wearing similar costume, like get up. I think that's more what he wants to attack, and that jumps into what we want to talk about next is the really shift of like character we're getting in this movie as
Yeah,
far as like what we've seen in media so far. Because up until this point, we've thought of Batman as like the dark of like a dark avenger of the night.
yeah, he's the world's greatest detective. He's Bat God. He is the Knight. He is everything. This movie is like, no, he is not the world's greatest detective. He's still learning how to be a good detective. He is not Bat God. He gets fucked up a lot, both physically and mentally, and he's not prepared for it.
Yeah, there are many times in this movie where he can't even tank bullets.
Yeah, I mean, literally in the climax, he's incapacitated by getting hit with a double barrel shotgun at point blank range in armor, which realistically, yeah, that would be what would happen to you if you had the armor of Batman but got hit point blank.
Yeah, yeah. But this just indicates an overall tone of like, and even in the movie, it explicitly says it that this is no longer like the anti-hero of vengeance. This is now
I,
a hero who inspires hope.
yes, which I want to get into towards the end of this because it will be a rant. But let's talk about the characters.
Yeah, obvious one to get out of the way first is Bruce Wayne.
Yes, Robert Pattinson plays an amazing Batman.
Yeah,
He, I really liked his take on it. I really love the fact that he decided to not bulk up like most Hollywood stars do for movies because it actually makes Batman seem more superhuman
yeah,
because he's slim, but his punches seem to have even more impact.
yeah,
It also makes sense for what is a loner billionaire. He looks, he's not unattractive, but he's not attractive looking.
yeah.
Like he's hunched over, he his face is dirty, his hair is unkept, he is just like he has standoffish body language.
And now that you bring it up, I'm kind of convinced that none of that, like, I think the hunching is intentional, but everything else is not. Because he's, like, this movie goes into, like, depth showing that, yes, Bruce is super, like, hyper obsessed with his nighttime job.
Yeah. Like, one thing that I saw pointed out a lot was that throughout the movie, he winces at sunlight all the time.
Like, hell, even indoors, he has to wear sunglasses.
Exactly. It's only until the very end of the movie, when he's helping the woman get taken by the National Guard for medical support, does he stop wincing at sunlight.
Yeah.
So, Robert Pattinson, both physically and through his dialogue, really got this character down.
Yes.
He got the dry Batman humor really well with the thumb where he's just like thumb drive.
Oh yeah, the humor in this movie just definitely a huge departure from what we've gotten and throughout the entire MCU and from Justice League,
Yeah.
which thank God.
It was it gave us how Batman's funny but in character.
Like I think that is a point where that and the Nolan films are pretty similar because the Nolan films do have like your little bits and pieces of humor, but it's like once every 20 minutes. It's not like once every 5 minutes.
Yeah, this movie picked and chose when to be humorous, and they did it well.
Yeah, because a common criticism of this movie is it's not funny enough. Which, why are you watching this movie?
Yeah, honestly, if you're looking to laugh in a movie like this, I don't know what to tell you, man. I mean, the Riddler, he's kind of funny, but he ain't no Joker.
But I think that's going to segue into the next character we want to do, which is the Riddler.
Yes, I love the Riddler in this movie because he's basically a combination of the Riddler, Hush, and in my opinion, Azrael. Because he's basically Dark Batman. He views what he does in the same way as Batman views what he does. He thinks him and Batman are on the same side.
I mean, you've seen like how much he idolized him, and then immediately as soon as like Batman told him that he's a psychopath, just him entirely just shattering and his mentality just completely diminishing. Yeah. The breakdown was really good.
Yeah, I mean, the trailers try to make it seem like, oh, the Riddler knows that Batman's Bruce Wayne, but no. The plot twist of the movie is that he doesn't know. And in fact, the plot twist is that he thought he was working with Batman, and that everything Batman's been doing throughout the movie has been in service of the Riddler, not against the Riddler.
Unintentionally, yeah. Without any of like the internal context. Batman was being used as a tool for the Riddler's ends.
Yeah, and the fact of the matter is that the clues were there from the very beginning. Just when we look at the photographs that got leaked of the mayor with Annika, look at the angle where the pictures are taken. It's from his apartment. From the very beginning, we should have known the Riddler lives across from the Iceberg Lounge. But you don't realize that until the end of the movie.
Yeah, because that's only one instance we see it from there. So it's an easily missed detail, which of course leads into...
Or actually, there's another one. When when Batman goes to the Iceberg Lounge the first time, there's a light on in the top left corner, and that's actually the Riddler watching Batman go to the Iceberg Lounge the first time. Meaning he's been watching him do this the entire movie. And it's completely right under your nose.
Yeah, that's a detail I did not catch.
Yeah, it's actually crazy how involved the Riddler is with Batman, where, from a certain point of view, you could see that they're partners. I mean, like it or not, Commissioner Savage said, how do you know he's not working with him? In reference to Batman working with Riddler. And in a very morbid way, the Commissioner was right.
Yeah, but I do want to touch on the idea that that he didn't know Bruce's secret identity.
Yeah.
Because as soon as the dialogue starts turning, as soon as he's in Arkham, you start to get hints like, oh, maybe he knew, but then immediately, right when the dialogue ends, you realize, oh, he never knew.
Yeah.
Especially because if he did know, his plan kind of falls apart.
Yeah. Some people have said, oh, he probably knew. I don't think he did for one whole reason, which is the bombing at Wayne Tower, specifically the fact that there was a letter to Batman in a fireproof case.
Yeah, if Bruce Wayne saw that and Batman was the same person, that letter was never being.
Yeah.
And not even that, just the logistics of the plan itself, because Riddler's whole plan is to take down the elite, which doesn't make sense to use
Batman for.
Yeah, Batman for it if he knows he's Bruce Wayne.
Yeah. The other thing is that he sends Batman to the orphanage at the same time the package is being delivered. If he knew Batman and Bruce Wayne were one and the same, then...
So, yeah, basically this movie gives out a lot of details to indicate, no, he never knew.
He never knew. And that's important because he genuinely believes Batman is a symbol, which I actually really like. And I think it was purposeful because let's address the elephant in the room. The Punisher, Marvel, a Marvel equivalent to Batman, is a vigilante that fights crime with a very recognizable symbol that's very influential. And in the real world, the Punisher symbol has been misappropriated. I think it was somewhat intentional on Matt Reeves' part to tackle that fact with how Batman's symbol could be misrepresented and misused for violence.
Yeah, I mean, hell, like, the beginning of his character arc is pretty much, to go back to Batman, is that he is the vengeance of the night. Something that the Nolan movies embraced wholeheartedly. And this movie strays away from that entirely.
I would say it doesn't just stray away, it rejects.
Yeah.
The ending of this movie is rejecting the idea that Batman is vengeance.
Yeah.
Which is something I greatly love. But before we get that, let's talk about Lieutenant Gordon.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Wright killed it.
Definitely one of the best interpretations of the character that I've seen so far.
He was definitely I would say he's either secondary or tertiary protagonist.
No, he is secondary, without a doubt.
It's between him and Catwoman, that's why.
Oh, no. I would argue that I would have liked to see more of Catwoman, so that's why I would put Catwoman as a tertiary character.
Okay.
Because in reality, this is a detective thriller,
yeah.
Gordon's finding out half of the stuff.
Yeah, which is great. I think Gordon did really well because, for one, he's not useless.
Yeah.
I feel like in a lot of Batman-related media, when he's Commissioner Gordon, it feels less that he's opening doors for Batman and more like a cheerleader at times.
Yeah.
But with this one, him and Batman are the dynamic duo. To quote Penguin, one's good cop, the other's batshit cop.
Like, this is quite literally a buddy cop flick if you really want to, be kind of reductive about it.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that the two of them are able to work together and get things done, and they seem genuinely to be friends.
Yeah.
Like, it's really good, in my opinion, that they had Lieutenant Gordon be the one that pulls Batman away from the edge, from actually killing someone. It's Lieutenant Gordon that stops him and tells him it's over. It's over. You don't need to do this.
Yeah. But let's touch on Catwoman. I think Zoe Kravitz killed it.
Oh, she definitely killed it. She did so well as it. She, in my opinion, got what was great about Catwoman, which is that, yes, she steals, and yes, she is a bit selfish, but ultimately, it's because she's been broken down by the system that is Gotham.
Yeah.
And it really makes her a jaded person. But someone like Batman inspires a bit of hope in her, even though she thinks he could be vengeance just like she can.
Because the Nolan movies start to, unintentionally kind of make her like a Robin Hood type character somewhat.
Yeah.
And that's not to be seen here.
Yeah,
because
mm-hmm.
the change in her character kind of came out of nowhere in Dark Knight Rises. Meanwhile, in this movie, we see the small interactions that they have are like they're leading up to a larger character arc, whereas in Dark Knight Rises, she just feels guilty that she let Batman to Bane.
Yeah. Well, yeah, this movie, in my opinion, has a lot more agency.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
without a doubt.
Yeah, I mean,
like again, I would still like to see more of her, but most likely we are going to see her in future films.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if she gets her own HBO Max show or her own movie.
I have heard rumors of a Penguin show coming.
That is confirmed. It will be a Penguin show and a GCPD show headed by Jeffrey Wright.
No way. That's awesome, actually.
But we'll get to that when we talk about the Penguin. But so I think she was really good. I really like that they pulled that she is Falcone's daughter. They got that from the comics. So really like that because it really gave them an interesting dynamic in the sense that she was always around him, but he never really acknowledged her. And even when he finally did acknowledge her, he was still just ultimately willing to kill her if she got in his way.
Yeah.
And I thought it was really good.
One thing, I heard that, and I'm pretty sure this has been confirmed, but the studio actually required Zoe Kravitz to have mandatory cat time.
Really?
Yeah, they actually required her to spend time with the cats to get to know them.
I think that would work, especially for the cats to seem realistically comfortable in that environment.
Yeah. I mean, that's obviously why they did it.
Yeah.
It's just weird that, like, the articles were written about it.
Yeah. I mean, if she was fine with it, then...
I mean, if she was comfortable with it, sure.
Yeah,
go right ahead. It's just a really weird thing for, like, the studio to boast about.
Yeah. But she did really good. Now, let's talk about the Penguin.
Yeah.
Colin Farrell does not look like himself in that movie.
I mean, yeah.
But
yeah.
I thought the Penguin was really good because he shows he's young and arrogant and boisterous.
Or not even, like, and on top of that, you can tell, like, he's gunning for the top.
Yeah.
Like, he obviously has intentions to go further than what he is. And it doesn't show... While he's still young, he's not inexperienced. Yeah. He has a lot of experience doing what he did.
Yeah, and this movie really showed it off. Because, for one, the way he works as the proprietor of the Iceberg Lounge. So even though he's under Falcone, he has something of his own. The way he's able to control the drops, both literally and figuratively. The drops of drugs and the literal drug drops. The way he commands respect, in my opinion, really shows that he is someone that's come up within Gotham's criminal underworld.
Yeah,
really well.
And it's definitely a huge departure from Danny DeVito's pain.
Yeah,
I will say that.
Yeah,
because this being a Batman film 30 to, I think it's anywhere from 30 to 40 years ago. I don't remember when that Batman movie was released, but
I think it was in the 80s.
Oh yeah, so it would have been 40 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, so having a newer interpretation of that character is much more helpful for live action.
Yeah.
Especially because, while no shame to Danny DeVito,
Colin Farrell hit it out the park.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah. I think he's really good, and it's going to be really interesting seeing him pick up the pieces of the disparate crime families in Gotham in his own TV show.
Yeah.
Because it's confirmed for HBO Max.
Yeah.
So he will be getting his own spinoff.
And then I want to touch on Carmine Falcone next.
Yes, because he is our secondary antagonist. If we have the primary protagonist being Batman and antagonist Riddler, our secondaries would be Falcone and Gordon. Tertiaries would be Penguin and Catwoman. So
I really do like this interpretation, mostly because, let's be honest here, Carmine Falcone had no agency in Batman Begins. You don't remember him.
Yeah.
But in this movie, you definitely will be remembering him because he is the definition of a lowlife.
Yeah. Not only that, but he's realistically confident and arrogant. He definitely gives the air of someone that is cunning, but also understands the weight of the power he holds.
Yeah, and also the fact that he's so intertwined
The Waynes.
with the Waynes, because in the Nolan films it was just Joe Chill killed the Waynes and was then killed the the Falcone crime syndicate.
Yeah. While in this one, it's more in line with the comics, which, for one, serves to improve Batman's character, but also serves to improve the characters of the Waynes, in the sense that, yeah, the Waynes aren't saintly. They have problems.
Yeah.
And one of them was that, yeah, Thomas Wayne was friends with Carmine Falcone and knew damn well he was a criminal.
Yeah, another comparison from the Nolan films incoming, but in the Nolan films, they were all Boy Scouts. The attempt to bring Gotham up from the brink of despair was evident in their characters' backstories.
Yeah.
But in this movie, it's left extremely ambiguous whether they were good or corrupt.
Yeah, which I think is the best interpretation of the Waynes and the most realistic interpretation of them. Falcone, really well written. Even when he was lying to Bruce and trying to frame Sal Maroni for the death of he framed Sal Maroni for the death of the Waynes, but even then still made it ambiguous, meaning even he didn't know who killed the Waynes.
Yeah.
I think that was really good of the movie, was that he's trying to take advantage of the situation, always trying to get a one-up on the Waynes to ensure his power. But in that moment with Bruce, even he didn't know who did kill the Waynes. But also, I really think that in his moment of dying, he realized that Bruce Wayne was Batman.
Yeah.
I think so, because he always said, "I'll never forget your eyes." And he looks him dead in the eyes, and then he just dies. And I think he knows. And he'll just take that to his grave.
Yeah. Any other characters you want to touch on real quick?
Alfred.
Yeah. It's a shame that Alfred didn't have much agency in this movie. Which, to be fair, he did have he was pretty much the secondary protagonist in the Nolan films.
Yeah, in this one, I still liked Alfred a lot. For one, it shows that he actively contributes to Bruce's investigations.
Yeah.
Showing that this ain't no one-man show. If he doesn't have the people supporting him, he's screwed.
Yeah.
So Alfred being able to play a part in helping figure out the cipher and also getting Bruce Wayne to, be more active was really good. And then, yeah, he did get taken out halfway through the movie. Not dead, but incapacitated. But even then, he still served to be an emotional anchor for Batman, where he felt that, there was a very genuinely touching moment where...
Oh, no, that scene where he confronts Alfred about
his dad being involved with Falcone.
Yeah, that was one of the biggest acting moments of the entire movie.
Yeah.
It just showed off how good of an actor
Andy Serkis
and Robert Pattinson are.
Yeah, I really liked how it showed Alfred's guilt and grief over the Wayne's deaths. How he felt that it was his job to protect them, and he failed. And I really like that they did touch on that Alfred does blame himself for the death of the Waynes, and that's why he's involved with Batman.
Is that he also blames himself for not being able to convince Bruce Wayne about the fact that the deaths were not his fault.
Yeah. And he's also genuinely afraid that because he failed Bruce, he'll end up dying as Batman. So he helps him because that's his son. And he's like, you needed a father, and you had me. Which I feel Bruce kind of felt that when that hit him, he's like, wow, but you are my dad.
Yeah.
So the fact that they held hands and they did cry, which I thought was really good.
Yes.
It was a very heartfelt, emotional scene, something that I think was desperately needed, to further humanize this Bruce Wayne. Because even in the hospital, like, oh, you should go home. Does he have a next of kin? And he just sits there and he's like, it's just me.
Yeah. Now I want to get to a really superficial part of it I do want to touch on.
Okay.
The suit. What do you think of the suit? Just the Batman suit in this movie.
I think it was great.
I think it was... Do you think it's the best one we got so far? I think it is.
I think it is.
Because I just want to touch on the thing that everyone is talking about the suit. The boots.
Yes.
The way that the movie, like, just as far as taking its cinematography to the next level, shows that him walking towards you is just as big of like a fear indicator.
Yeah.
You felt
the
it.
heaviness of his boots when they hit the ground. You're just like, oh my god. You're just like imagining like that's going to hurt when you fight him.
Yeah. Because in previous Batman suits, even going all the way back to the 80s, there have always been issues with it.
Yeah.
Because, like, back when Michael Keaton wore the suit, I think it was Keaton that couldn't turn his head, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Because, like, even in scenes where he'd turn around, he'd turn his whole torso around and it'd look extremely awkward.
Yeah.
In the Nolan films as well, you see the same thing in the first movie. And hell, they even make it a plot point in the second movie so that way they can change the suit without being awkward.
Yeah.
And so...
And then in the Justice League,
I don't like that suit. I'm not gonna... It looks like, you know how Superman has, like, the alien mesh suit?
Yeah.
It looks like he has armor underneath it and just stuck the fabric of the alien mesh on top of it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't look like... It just makes Batman look like he's not packing.
Yeah. While this one I really liked, because for one, it feels very unprofessional.
Yeah. It looks like really well done cosplay, but it actually looks like you can take it into battle.
Yeah. It definitely feels like this is like rudimentary, like it's new, which it is. I mean, when we see him do the flying squirrel suit, he gets absolutely decked by the train.
Yeah.
by a fucking train line. He gets absolutely decked by it. But we also see early on that like he's shockproof.
Yeah, and to touch on how rudimentary the suit is, the cowl is just made of leather. Like it's just stitched together. Like it's very obvious this is not like a professionally made cowl.
Yeah, on top of that, you see that he has to use every part of his suit. He doesn't have a batarang. His batarang is his emblem.
Yeah.
That he can only use once.
Which I think is pretty creative.
Yeah.
Because, like, it's difficult to make, like, batarangs make sense. Somehow the Nolan movies pulled it off just fine.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Now, this movie made it make even more sense. It's his emblem, but he only has one.
Yeah.
And he can only use it once.
And so he doesn't use it like a throwing weapon. He mostly uses it for melee. And for, like, as a utility tool.
Yeah, he mainly uses it for utility, actually. When he is cutting.
There are several times when he's cut things with his emblem.
Yeah.
As far as, like, police tape or electrical wires or things like that. So, yeah, it's a very interesting take on the suit, and I genuinely have nothing but praise for it because it does nothing but emphasize just every thing that we've talked about before.
Yeah.
As far as, like, the settings, just everything.
Yeah. I really want to talk about how this movie was inspired by so many other movies. It's inspired by Halloween, by Zodiac, by Seven, by Chinatown, by, what is it? It's also inspired by different comics, The Long Halloween.
The Long Halloween is the obvious reference.
Yes, there's The Long Halloween, but there's sequel Dark Victory, there's Batman Ego, there's Earth One,
there's also inspiration
Year Zero.
There's inspiration from Hush as well.
Yeah, and Hush. It was just really good in terms of how it was, how it handled all of its inspirations and tied it in very well. Like, the Riddler suit is based off of sketches of the Zodiac Killer. The Cypher is based off of how the detective in Zodiac figures out the Zodiac Killer's cipher, the double letter. Because, just like in Zodiac, what is a letter that you'll use twice?
Yeah.
A double L, because kill, but in this case, it's still. And, yeah, when it came to, what was it? Like it did in 7, where you see the villain just in the background before you actually realize that the villain was there. Pull that from 7. The whole corruption aspect of the city having funds for something good being used as a piggy bank by evil people is lifted directly from Chinatown, and the water funds that were going to the creation of LA.
Yeah.
Even Halloween, in the sense of when you see point of view shots from the Riddler and from Batman, it's very much evoking how Michael Myers stalks his prey. Like, you really see this, especially in the beginning, where the Riddler stalks Mayor Mitchell. It's exactly like Michael Myers.
Oh yeah. It definitely got horror movie vibes from that scene for sure.
Yeah, they used a water phone, which is the main instrument that's used in a lot of horror movie sounds.
Yeah.
So it was really good. There was just so many great influences on this movie. I absolutely just loved it.
But to take from the comic book references, I think this is probably the most comics accurate Batman we've got.
Yeah, it really shows that.
Like, they care about the character as a whole and not just making him edgy for the sake of putting seats in the cinema.
Yeah, it really shows that Matt Reeves did his homework about Batman. He didn't just read Long Halloween and Killing Joke and The Dark Knight Rises and called it a day. He went deep into Batman lore. He went deep into figuring out different aspects of Batman. Do you know how deep he went with the lore? He pulled an obscure 1960s, shittily directed, shittily choreographed DC superhero fight thing that was only on DVD. He lifted that and referenced it in the movie.
Really?
Yes, it's some shitty, like, DC thing. I forgot what it is. It's from the 60s. Shit choreography. Like, it's absolute dog shit. But he went that far to find inspirations for this movie to make it work. And then obviously you can see other DC movies that were inspired by it. Obviously the Nolan Batman movies, but also the Joker, another movie that clearly inspired this really well. And then obviously other movies like Rogue One.
I do want to touch on the inspirations of it because I want to just distinguish it from the Joker, where I think this movie handles its inspirations really well, unlike the Joker. The one thing harping the Joker down is the fact that it's a one-for-one ripoff of Taxi Driver.
Yeah.
A lot of people have a lot of criticisms when it comes to that. While Joker still being a great movie and Joaquin Phoenix definitely earning that Best Actor award.
Yeah.
It is one thing that once you watch Taxi Driver, it's like, okay, I see what you're doing.
Yeah, meanwhile, this one, it's very good at pulling from numerous different sources, but also keeping it fresh and unique. Even when they did the whole Catwoman talking to Batman, which was pretty much lifted from the movie Conversation, it was still fresh. Yeah. Still didn't seem like it was exactly like Conversation. And I just really liked how this movie handled things. Another thing I really want to touch on, which I whispered to you in the theaters, was how they handled the corruption. So when Gil Coulson is talking to Catwoman, and how you basically see how all of the DA's office is in on this corruption and prostitution and all these different things, it felt real.
Oh yeah,
the fact that Gil Coulson isn't a mustache twirling evil misogynist.
He's not like this arrogant politician. He's pathetic.
He's anxious. He's anxiety. He's anxious. He's awkward. He's fidgety.
And also awkward around women.
He's very awkward around women, which I think was really good in one, humanizing the villains, but also showing how corruption truly looks. It's not all like backroom darkness, mustache twirling. It's people being selfish and
And it's people
weird.
taking advantage of the system.
Yeah, like
Like,
the way
it's
he was interacting with
because it's
Catwoman.
not, while the people are evil, it's the system making them.
Yeah, it's like the system is the true problem. They are just a symptom of it.
Yeah.
But just the way he was interacting with Catwoman, it felt so real. Seeing like, yeah, that's probably exactly how a very high politician would interact with a prostitute. Like it'd probably be like that. It's either that or they'd be very demeaning and demanding. But also, I really did like the plot point of the fact that Mayor Mitchell confides in Annika about the deal with Falcone, which makes sense. Historically, whenever things got leaked, it was mainly from powerful people sleeping with prostitutes and telling them and spilling their secrets. And that's pretty important to the plot, actually.
Yeah. One other thing from the movie I want to touch on is the soundtrack. Now, a lot of people have been saying that the movie overused Batman's main theme. I don't care.
It was good.
It was good. It was good.
It's good.
Just the soundtrack in the whole movie was exceptional, and that main theme is going to be stuck in my head for God knows how long.
Yeah.
Just because of how impactful it is.
Yeah. Something in the Way by Nirvana was also good because Matt Reeves has said that Kurt Cobain was also a big inspiration for this movie. And so hearing Kurt Cobain's voice throughout the movie was really good. Another underrated thing is the Riddler singing Ave Maria at the beginning of the movie, as that actually sets the tone for everything.
Yeah.
Like, Matt Reeves really did his homework in figuring out exactly how to set the tone. Ave Maria is a perfect song for what this movie is. One thing that I want to bring up is this ties into the ending scene, but it's also a deleted scene that he talked about, which is the Joker. So, according to Matt Reeves, there was a deleted scene that's probably going to come out with the Blu-ray version, where Batman was going to go to Arkham, and he was going to talk to the Joker about how to beat the Riddler. Because in this universe, the Joker doesn't exist yet. The man in that prison in Arkham is who will become the Joker. Right now, he's just a killer. He's just a he's just a very crazy killer.
Huh.
And so, Batman's initial approach to handling the Riddler was that of a crazy killer. He doesn't think of him as someone inspired by him. So the movie was going to have him go to Arkham and ask the Joker, what do you think of this?
So, that is very interesting, actually.
I kind of really wish we got that scene. Because it would have, for one, I think it would have given us even more depth to a Batman Joker relationship than we've ever seen. As it would show that just as Batman is rising, the Joker is rising. Because at this point, people don't really call Batman Batman. They call him Vengeance. And with the Joker, he's not Joker yet. He's literally listed as unnamed Arkham prisoner. Because that's what he is. He's just a random killer that Batman caught last year, who was crazy, and Batman thinks, if I ask him about a profile, what would this guy think? And I think that would have tied in really well with the ending.
I think the scene would have been good, but at the end of the day, I think it was smart to leave him out of the movie. Because, honestly, this movie it was such a tight script. It felt like no second was wasted in this movie.
Yeah. I believe what it was, though, was that you weren't going to figure out who was the Joker during that initial conversation.
Yeah.
It would have been at the ending when you see him laughing and talking to the Riddler that you realize the guy Batman talked to was a joke, is the man that will become Joker.
Yeah. So the reason that I'm quick to say that it's probably best they leave him out is because probably not a lot of people would catch on in that first interaction. And
I think
That's probably why they left it out. And also, just I'm happy with how this movie is. Like,
Yeah.
this movie is extremely tight, and I felt like that would have been a few seconds wasted that would make a perfect script just slightly sloppy.
Yeah, maybe.
But
I do like it though, just because it is something Batman does frequently in the comics, is that he consults his rogues gallery when he needs help and his normal partners can't help him. He consults his rogues gallery on how to defeat another rogue.
yeah, one thing I want to touch on it as well before we wrap things up is the pacing.
For a 3-hour movie,
This did
very
not this,
tight pacing.
this did not feel like a 3-hour movie.
Yeah, I see some people saying that it was too long. My opinion, could have been a little longer. Just a little longer.
Because there aren't any scenes in this movie where like that can be cut out.
There's no dead air.
There's nothing.
Everything is deliberate. It's pointed. It's in service of the plot. And if it's not in service of the plot, it's in service of developing the characters.
Exactly.
Every single scene.
Again, for me, this did not feel like a 3-hour movie, and I watched this movie twice.
Yeah, I've seen it once. I saw it yesterday. It was so great. I want to also talk about Bella Real for her limited time on screen. She was really good.
Oh yeah,
I really liked how she did bring up the fact that how, renewal is a lie. She is actually the first person to bring up that renewal is a lie. When you see the debate that she has with Mayor Mitchell, which is then gone on to be repeated by the Riddler.
Yeah.
Another thing I want to bring up, which is the journalist that got killed. So you know how the Riddler basically wants to avenge this journalist.
Yeah.
I do find it really funny though that the journalist he wants to avenge was corrupt in and of himself.
Yeah.
Because he says because Falcone says he worked.
I'm kind of on the edge if that was even true.
The reason why I think it's true is because it was stated that Maroni and Falcone have been trying to get one-ups on the Waynes so they can get access to renewal.
That is fair.
And let's be honest here. Would a good, honest, upstanding journalist actually want to go after someone for just being in an insane asylum? Because there's nothing politically sketchy about it.
What's politically sketchy is its connection to Thomas Wayne.
But the problem is that so what?
Well,
his wife's his mother-in-law killing his father-in-law happened before he even knew Martha, and Martha going to an
here's the thing. Yeah. To us as leftists, so what is correct?
Yeah,
but to
that's true.
The general public,
yeah,
that is huge.
Yeah,
when they're tied, and because both Bella Real and Mitchell before the murder, they were tied in the election. That would have convinced a few people, maybe I should back off of this. If that happened in that election, for damn sure if Bella Real was realized, her father was in an insane asylum, for goddamn sure that's going to make her drop by a percentage.
True. That's very true.
In elections like that, just half a percentage is enough to swing elections.
That's very true. As a leftist, I'm sitting here and I'm just like, that journalist is out of pocket. Because I was like, dude, you're framing a woman being sent to an asylum as a negative thing, but you're completely ignoring the fact that she went to an asylum, but she seems to be sane now.
To us, that's not a big deal.
Yeah.
But when you take into account, especially in a city as corrupt and grimy as Gotham, where crazies are running around all the time.
Yeah. But I do like how they did just kind of throw some shade and be like, it wasn't all that. It wasn't like an innocent journalist got killed. That's a bot, probably. That's followers, Prime, and viewers on. Yeah. If you're in stream chat, Twitch chat, and you see that link, please don't click it.
That's a bot.
That's a bot. It's not from us. Don't click it.
Thankfully, the image blocked it.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and just delete it.
I can't delete it from Twitch off of Streamlabs. We'll do that later. But anyways, one other thing I wanted to bring up, which is, of course, there's two things I want to talk about left. One of which is the fact that the Riddler has followers. And we actually saw two of them beforehand. When he walks into um, Mayor Mitchell's funeral,
Yeah.
and there's the one guy that's trying to break past the line that gets shoved back in line by the police.
Yeah.
But then there's the second guy that talks about how he's a piece of shit that's corrupt. Both of those men are in the final battle as Riddler followers.
Oh, without a doubt. Because the same motivation that Batman had to see, like, oh, what's the murderer's like reaction going to be to this funeral? They're there as well to see, like, oh,
what is our leader?
What is he going to do? What is our great leader going to do as a response to this funeral?
Yeah. It was
good payoff.
It was really good payoff. I really liked that the Riddler had followers, but I also liked how awkward he was and more personable he was with his tight-knit group. Like, he's literally like a small YouTuber. He's like, hey guys, like, I really appreciate the support that you guys have been giving me. Like, we've been doing so well.
Like stuff that we say.
Yeah, pretty much.
like he's a lot less confident. He's a little more like, he's like a little more meek in that kind of way.
Yeah, but it really, I think, served to really show why he had followers, because he was an everyday person like them.
Yeah.
And it also shows why they took inspiration from Batman, too, because they see him as an everyday person, because
they don't realize he's a multimillionaire.
A billionaire. Because in real life, no billionaire would actually care about random crime happening to lower class people. That would only make sense if someone was from there.
Yeah.
That's why most people see him as a working class hero.
And that's why Catwoman's line about you obviously grew up rich hits so hard.
Because she's one of the only people that notices that, you're doing all of this, but you're still missing something.
Like, he's still targeting, like, he's obviously, his targets are influenced by how his upbringing is.
Exactly. And I thought it was really well handled with those two guys. And honestly, just in general. I thought initially when I saw it that the Riddler followers were a bit of not a jab or a joke, but I saw some parallels to how I would see like tankies LARPing about what a revolution would be like.
I had to interject as soon as you said that, because no. These aren't leftists. You cannot deny, they've got massive Groiper energy.
They do have, on second thought, they do have massive.
I had to step in. I had to step in there because while leftists can be LARPy, this is on another level.
Yeah, that's some real Groiper energy for sure.
Because just looking at the names on the screen, War is my name. Oh.
See, the first name that I saw was Ratchet that shit. So I was like, oh god. But yeah, I thought that was really good. I really liked the twist that it was like the real twist was there were two big twists. The first one was that Batman was doing everything according to the Riddler's plan all along. The second twist was that the Riddler is not alone.
Yeah.
I also like the subtle storytelling that was going on in the movie with the seawall. How right next to, so you see in the Riddler, in the mayor's room, you have the big Maroney crime boss. That's his claim to fame.
Yeah.
But on a smaller newspaper, you talk about seawall construction stalled. And throughout the movie, you've been shown scenes where the seawall is in the foreground, but not focused on the foreground. Right. It's there. And you see, as the movie progresses, the water level has risen at the seawall because of all the rain. So inevitably, when the Riddler blows it up and Gotham gets flooded, it's actually payoff. Yeah. And it's even foreshadowed in the sense that the Batcave is underwater in a subway tunnel, but it's flooding. It's partially flooded. I also did like that the Tucker was the weapon used by the Riddler.
Oh yeah, I definitely wanted to bring that up
because
it's the first weapon used, and it has payoff in the last 20 minutes of the movie.
but it also is a good piece of storytelling, which is that a Tucker is something that only working class people would really be familiar with.
Because it was Officer Rodriguez that figured out
Martinez.
I'm sorry.
It is Officer Martinez, yeah.
Yeah. That figures out, oh, that's what that is.
Yeah.
And because what leads Batman to realize that that was the weapon used in the first murder was not the fact that the weapon was there at the crime scene. It was because of the blood impression left in the first murder scene.
Yeah.
And so he instantly realized, oh, this has to be the first weapon used. Because obviously, as an audience member, we know, but him recognizing that blood stain in the first crime scene and then putting pieces together shows, okay, yeah, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah. And then I really liked how the fact that the plan was literally under the rug, just as how the Riddler was trying to expose all the corruption that was metaphorically swept under the rug. Like, yeah. And I really do like, I did like for a side character, Officer Martinez. He starts off very antagonistic with Batman, but by the end of it, you see that he does trust him. And on some level, Batman trusted him to be able to, help him figure out the ending of the Riddler's plan. So for a small side character, he even had payoff. And I kind of hope he sticks around in the trilogy as a side character that goes up in the world that also becomes a big Batman supporter.
Hell, I am down for him to become a lieutenant.
I really hope we see more of him in the GCPD show.
Yeah.
And the last thing I want to bring up, which is something I've talked about before, but I'm really thankful that this movie is a rejection of the fact that Batman needs to be dark and gritty with no hope, no light, no goodness.
Because
I really love that this is a rejection of that fact. That Batman being vengeance and dark is not only bad for him, but it's bad for everyone.
Because ultimately, the trigger for him to have that realization is the Riddler grunt saying, I am vengeance. That's when he realizes, oh no, maybe my actions didn't have the consequences I intended.
Yeah. He partially realizes that, yeah, crime isn't dropping because I'm part of the problem.
And then we get to see something, and I want to really point this out because it's a complaint that a lot of people had about the logic of superhero movies, but it's being addressed now. He actually stays to help with the cleanup.
Yes.
And help. And because of that small change in his perspective, he now gets news stories saying the Batman saves hundreds from flooding.
Exactly.
So he is seen as the symbol of hope.
Exactly. And I mean, let's be honest here. The showing of him with the flare leading the people through the water is taken directly as Moses leading the Jews through the Red Sea.
Yeah. I mean,
and of course the flare is red.
I mean, the cinematography of that scene alone is to die for, but the symbolism is also just it's the chef's kiss to the whole scene.
I loved it, but I also loved how the first person to trust Batman is the mayor's son, because initially he reaches out for Bella Real, but she doesn't trust him. But when the kid reaches for him, it's a symbol that the childhood innocence that Bruce lost to Gotham is what trusts Batman. And it's then Bella Real trusts him as she is the future of Gotham's institutions.
Because, for all intents and purposes, she thinks that he's the vigilante of vengeance who is a complete lunatic.
Yeah.
Because of his perspective from before where he is vengeance.
Yeah.
So
seeing him come down there and he holds his hand out and he brings them out and then he guides them away and he guides them to safety was great. And the fact that he recognized very quickly that they were all going to die. They were going to get electrocuted if the breaker box fell in.
So going down, potentially electrocute himself to cut off the box from all the circuitry. Like I knew he wasn't going to die, and thankfully they didn't linger on it, because I felt if they lingered onto it for 5 seconds, that would have kind of annoyed me. But thankfully, They was like, nope, this is not a fake out death. He's still alive.
Actually, I think he did die, and he was reborn as the symbol of hope.
So
Because I think it's really fitting that his emblem throughout the movie is a weapon. But it's only when he casts out that weapon to save people does he truly become the symbol of hope.
yeah.
Because
So
he doesn't get it back.
so metaphorically he dies, but I mean like
Yeah.
in the literal sense, like they didn't
Oh,
make
yeah.
it a fake out death.
Oh, yeah, they didn't make it a fake out death, but metaphorically, they did kill him in that moment.
They killed the Batman of Vengeance and brought forth the Batman of Hope.
Exactly. And I really love that. I really love the water motif that had been going on throughout the movie, and it finally did pay off with the massive flood. Obviously, a reference to God flooding Sodom and Gomorrah to clear out the corruption, and that's what the Riddler did.
I mean, hell, the rain was utilized so well in all of the scenes, like especially in the car chase scene with the Penguin.
I want to say another scene that played the rain off really well was when the Riddler kidnaps Gil Coulson.
Yeah.
I think the rain did that really well, even with the subtlety of the fact that the windshield is fogged because the Riddler's been sitting in that car for way too long.
Oh yeah, yeah.
This movie was so good, so many details, so many symbols. I mean, even when Batman and Catwoman are leaving the graveyard, it's symbolizing them finally getting over the deaths that have been plaguing them prior to the movie, and it's them moving forward, her going to Bloodhaven, and her and him going back to Gotham. He's finally getting over the deaths, and he's ready to move forward. And another thing that I really liked was that on some levels, Batman did lose.
Yeah.
He saved the day, but he lost a lot.
Like at this point, at the end of the movie, Gotham is left off worse than it originally was. Like,
Yeah.
Ultimately, he won the battle, but Gotham still lost because who knows how many people have died to that flood?
Hundreds of thousands, if not millions, are dead, and most assuredly millions injured and displaced and missing.
Yeah, and now there's a power vacuum, which will most likely be picked up by the Penguin.
Yeah, there's a power vacuum, but there's also martial law being enforced by the government. This is very much setting up the sequel to be No Man's Land, which is a story arc about the various criminals of Gotham carving up the city after the government abandons it, which I believe in the comics was due to a massive earthquake. In this case, it's a flood, and I think that's definitely going to do it. So that's going to be really good.
So I do want to get into the implications of what universe this movie takes place in. So obviously it can't take place in the DCEU because we have a completely different Jim Gordon.
Yeah.
And then it can't take place in the Joker universe, in the DC Dark universe, because we don't have an established Joker yet, like you said. Whereas, right as soon as he comes out as the Joker, everyone announces him as the Joker.
Yeah, and the other thing is also that the Joker takes place in the 80s. This takes place in at least the late 2010s to the early 2020s. That's way too much time.
Yeah, so we are probably convinced that this takes place in an alternate timeline, which
will connect back to the DCEU via Flashpoint.
Which
I don't know why we keep calling it Flashpoint. I think it's just called The Flash.
It's just called The Flash.
But it was when we first heard the story, it's clearly ripped off of the Flashpoint paradox.
Yeah.
But we're still going to call it Flashpoint.
I mean, honestly, I continue to gripe about the Flash handling the Flashpoint storyline because it's way too early in the lifespan of the DCE to start handling multiversal threats.
Yeah, but here we are.
We're getting multiple speedsters and multiple Batmen.
Yeah, but this movie, if I had to rank it, fuck it, 10 out of 10.
Yeah, for me, it's definitely really good. Okay, now here's the ultimate challenge. Say one bad thing about this movie.
They took out the scene.
Say something bad about something that's in the movie.
Fine.
You're not getting out of this easy.
Okay, fine. Something bad in the movie that happened. I would say probably one of the only things that truly did bother me was that we never truly saw the effects of drops on the citizens. The only reference we get is obviously the drug deal that we see and the drug addicts that we see in the orphanage, and then obviously Gil Coulson. But we don't really see why drops in particular are evil compared to just your average drugs. Like, you could swap drops out for literally coke. Like, it literally could be cocaine, and the plot would be exactly the same.
Fair. Yeah.
So I just wonder, why did you specify an eye drop based drug? I guess it's because justice is blind eye and drugs, whatever. I feel like they could have just done coke.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's fair. My turn.
Yes.
I think Batman looked kind of goofy when he kneeled down when Penguin crashed over in his car.
I think that was on purpose. I think that was genuinely on purpose.
I think it went a little too far, to be honest. Again, these are nitpicks. These aren't actual problems we have with the movie. But I have to point out my one nitpick because I presented this challenge to Shiny, and so I thus have to bear the fruit of my labor as well.
Yes. Oh, one other thing. I really like how shitty Spanish was the point. I like how Penguin was just like, am I the only one that knows Spanish, you dumbasses?
And that wasn't the only time. Hell, Alfred, when they were first decrypting it, said that the Riddler obviously is not good with Spanish.
Yeah.
And they carried that through that whole arc.
Yeah, which I thought was really good.
So, URL Rata Alada. URL. The URL is Rata Alada.
Yes, which is a real website, by the way. It was a real website that was giving out ciphers throughout the promotions of the movie. And in fact, the only letter in the cipher that we are missing is the letter J, obviously for Joker.
Whew.
Oh yeah, and I did like the Penguin waddling after they left him tied up. Yeah, overall, also, did you get Jack Ruby vibes when the Penguin pulled the gun to shoot Falcone? Jack Ruby killed Lee Harvey Oswald, murderer of JFK. I got huge Jack Ruby vibes.
I didn't catch that.
I got huge Jack Ruby vibes because it very much looked like he was going to pull a Jack Ruby where the man that was known for like the crime of the century, he gets killed by a mob. He gets killed by like a mob affiliated fat guy, but then they didn't because the Riddler kills him.
Yeah, no, I didn't catch that.
Yeah. Anyways, that is our review.
That is our hour-plus long review
of the Batman. I rank it 10 out of 10.
9.5 out of 10.
Phenomenal movie. Would recommend. Now, let us move on from that to our second segment, which is the Obi-Wan Kenobi trailer,
which
got released today as a part of Disney's shareholder meetings.
Yeah, which thank you Disney for keeping the promise to constantly upload trailers the day of our podcast.
Yeah, Pokemon was doing that with Legends Arceus, and Disney is like, well, we're gonna do it too.
Gotta screw over these two internet guys specifically, and it's a joint effort.
And I love this. I love this trailer. I really like what I saw.
And also solidifies Shiny's perspective that I continue watching the animated Star Wars shows.
Yes, for Christ's sake.
Like, I realized...
Watch the Clone Wars, watch the Bad Batch, and watch Rebels.
Now I have to watch Rebels because there are Inquisitors in here because of the spinny lightsabers.
Yes.
Like, as soon as I realized that, oh god, those are helicopter sabers. There are Inquisitors in here, which means I gotta watch Rebels.
Yes. This is taking place pre-Rebels, though, as that was the Grand Inquisitor. And we also saw the second brother, or the fourth brother, which are two characters that we see their full character arcs in Rebels. So this is clearly before. But I really liked what I saw here. For one, we're getting Ewan McGregor back, who was one of the breakout stars of the prequels.
Which he looks fantastic.
Oh, he does. He looks so good.
Yeah, because he would not look great without his full facial hair just fully grown out.
Yeah.
And in this, it looks like he's like definitely he looks 20 years older.
Yeah. I also really like the fact that we're seeing a bit of the fascism of the Empire with how they basically give out essentialist perspectives about Jedi in the same way that race realists would talk about minorities, saying they cannot help themselves. It is a compulsion. It is inherent to who they are. Like using a lot of essentialist language, which I thought was really good because it makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
We're seeing that he is spying on Luke.
Yeah, man, you just caught me 2 seconds before I was going to bring that up. Yeah, no, the idea that he's still keeping an eye on Luke from a distance is really good. And you also see him as a character. Like, yes, this is how child Luke would look. He wants to be like a pilot. He wants to adventure, which is extremely synonymous with what we see in episode 4. He has a desperate urge to go out there and see the world.
Yeah. We also see Owen Lars.
Yeah.
Who I think is going to probably be a secondary, not antagonist, protagonist in this movie. And I think it will firmly solidify why in A New Hope, Uncle Owen doesn't like Luke seeing Obi-Wan.
Yeah. Which he definitely should be able to solidify him as a character in this universe, because ultimately he gets no screen time for a character who has a massive amount of impact on Luke as a character.
Yeah, Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru, they really got no, like in the prequels, which in my opinion could have been good development, even in TCW, where they, like at one point Anakin is on Tatooine. It's early in the Clone Wars, but he's on Tatooine, and we never see Owen and Beru. And I feel that was really missed throughout the entire prequel era, was developing the paternal figures of Luke. So I really hope the show makes Owen and Beru like good supporting characters.
Yeah.
Like it very much looks like Owen at least is, because he's coming face to face with an Inquisitor. What was I gonna say? I really do like the fact that we're seeing the Inquisitors doing their thing, because presumably this is on the heels of the beginning of the Great Jedi Purge.
Yeah.
Meaning that we should be seeing Inquisitors hunting Jedi down. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a couple Jedi get killed off in this show.
Yeah.
Maybe one named Jedi that we were ambiguous about whether they died or not getting killed off in this series.
Yeah. Any ideas as to who it... I mean, obvious choice would be Mace Windu, but that's
Oh, absolutely. No. He's dead. He's dead. He's not showing up in this. He's dead.
Geez, you always finish my sentences to say the exact thing I'm going to say.
Yes.
Like, I would love to see him, but he has to stay dead.
Yeah. One that I'm thinking about is Luminara Unduli. Reason being is that while in Legends she did die on Kashyyyk, in canon she was captured on Kashyyyk and she was executed. Because in Rebels there's a plot point about Jedi being lured to an Imperial station, thinking they can free Luminara Unduli, but in reality they're using a holo recording and her actual corpse to trick people. So I wonder if this show will actually show her execution.
Huh.
And it will be like Obi-Wan will be one of the first people potentially to think that he can save Luminara, but he doesn't, and he abandons the quest.
Yeah. What kind of character arc do you think he'll go on the show? Because obviously, ultimately, he has to stay on Tatooine.
No, it doesn't.
I mean, from the beginning of the show to the end.
Oh, yes. By the
end.
Like,
he can take side quests off. That's not what I'm saying.
Okay.
Like obviously, this show goes off-world of Tatooine multiple times.
Yeah.
But as far as keeping him exiled, what could his potential character arc be?
In my opinion, it's twofold. One, he will fully see the monster Anakin as we come, more so than ever.
Because, of course, we are getting Hayden Christensen back as Darth Vader in this show, as confirmed.
The second is that he's going to finish his complete journey as a Jedi under the tutelage of Qui-Gon Jinn as a Force ghost.
That would work out really well, especially because we had never gotten any payoff as to Yoda saying, "You have more to learn from your master."
Yeah.
And then he realizes
Qui-Gon's alive.
Yoda's talking about Qui-Gon.
Yes, because I believe this is the truth well, Qui-Gon's one of the first people of the modern era, I believe, in Legends and in canon, to discover becoming one with the Force and to live on as a Force ghost. So, it'll be really interesting seeing Qui-Gon, which I do believe Qui-Gon will be in the show, and I do believe Liam Neeson is going to be there, and I think it's going to be a surprise.
He has to be.
I think Liam Neeson's in the show, and I think they're hiding that fact.
They better hide it, because I've seen a lot of people talk about how in Rogue One, if they kept Darth Vader a secret, the reveal would have been so good.
Yeah. I mean, the reveal was still amazing.
The reveal of him was still really good.
Because I think it worked in Rogue One, because we knew Darth Vader would be in the movie, but we didn't know
how.
We didn't know he was going to kill people.
No. That wasn't killing. That was an absolute slaughter fest.
Yeah. So, for one, I'm really excited to see that. My God. One thing I really kind of want to see is I want to see Tamora Morrison in the show playing clones. Because I do want to see, we've been seeing this transition in the Bad Batch, the transition from clones to Imperial recruits, but I feel over the timeline of the show, we should have Tamora Morrison voice some stormtroopers, but others are voiced by random people, showing that the transition.
Yeah, definitely.
So, and I mean, Tamora Morrison has said he's willing to play any clone that shows up. He said he's willing to play Boba, he's willing to play Jango in a flashback, he's willing to play Captain Rex, he's willing to play any of the Bad Batch characters in live action, he's willing to play any of these guys.
Quick question, in the animated universe, or in the animated shows, do they ever explain why they abandoned clones?
Yes.
They do?
It's a major plot point of the Bad Batch.
Oh, okay. Perfect.
It is, it's actually, in my opinion, one of the overarching plots of Season 1 of the Bad Batch.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's even talked about in Rebels as well.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Is it because of their accelerated aging?
No.
No? Oh, okay.
It's going to be different. In Legends, the reason being was they wanted to get more, they wanted more loyalty off of the populace, so they recruited. But also in Legends, there was a rebellion by the Kaminoan cloners, where they cloned their own anti-Empire clones to fight the Empire. So you had the clones of the Empire in the 501st fighting the clones of Kamino's defense force, and that convinced Palpatine that clones were unreliable. That's in Legends. In canon, it's different.
Okay.
So I won't tell you what happened in canon as to why the clones change, but there is a reason, and it's an overarching reason.
Okay. Well, that just gets me more intrigued.
Yeah. Canonically, there should be clones throughout all eras of Star Wars because of the accelerated aging, being that if there are new clones being born, and the ones that we see so here's what we know. In canon, Clone Army was created before the events of Attack of the Clones. So we've had several generations of clones already. Then we have the Clone Wars. And cloning is still happening throughout the Clone Wars. And cloning happened into the Empire. Technically, with how clones age, you should have clones all the way to the era of the First Order, technically. They don't do that logistically, but on a technical level, in both canons and legends, you should have had clones all the way up until around 30 to 40 BBY. I mean ABY, after Battle of Yavin.
Now what just pops up into my mind now, and what the hell were the Sith Troopers?
So, if according to the novels, the whole thing about the Sith Troopers and Sith Eternal was that Palpatine always expected the Empire to die. He knew that it was what he wanted for the galaxy was not tenable, because he knew that the current Imperials were loyal to the Empire. He wanted something loyal to him. And this has actually been referenced in The Mandalorian, but also it's been referenced in Fallen Order, that throughout, and also a bit in Rebels, but that all, and also through several of the novels, all throughout the Imperial period, and probably starting at the end of the days of the Republic, Palpatine has been siphoning money and putting it into his own personal empire on Exegol, loyal to only him. In Fallen Order, you see a bit of that. In Rebels, the talk about money comes up a lot within the Empire. Money is also brought up in the Bad Batch. And yeah, the whole thing about Sith Troopers is that they are supposed to be the next Stormtroopers, not loyal to the Empire, but loyal to the Emperor.
Okay.
It's actually a really interesting plot about the sequels that doesn't get talked about because they completely mishandled the shit out of it. I thought, that's fucking genius. The idea that the Empire was just a front for something worse, and that throughout various media, you could see that the First Order had been foreshadowed all along. That's so fucking cool. But of course, this is fucking J.J. Abrams' baby, so it's of course dumb and didn't work.
Getting back to our main topic. So, anything else you look forward to in the Kenobi show?
I am really excited to see the Grand Inquisitor. I like him as a character. He is a character that is really interesting. This will be the third show that he's appeared in. He first appears in the Clone Wars. He then appears in Rebels. And now he's in this show. And I hope the show bridges the gap between his character pre-Rebels and Rebels. Mind you, the character of him in the Clone Wars isn't important. But there is a transition I would like to see.
Yeah. I just hope...
I don't know do you know who the Grand Inquisitor was?
Not really.
Okay, then I will tell you. Because they reveal it in later seasons of Rebels that the Grand Inquisitor was somebody. Not as in he was a somebody.
As in he was somebody important.
No. It's not that he was somebody important, but he was somebody that we've seen.
Okay. I just hope that I don't see any Inquisitors flying with their helicopter sabers. I swear to God, if I see that, I'm ditching the show.
I'm going to be perfectly honest, Mr. Chief. I think that's going to happen.
I don't want to see it happening.
I think it's going to happen.
Please don't let it happen. Don't will this into live action, please.
The one thing I'm interested in, specifically, is do you think we'll see Ahsoka and Darth Maul? Now, Darth Maul will not be interacting with Obi-Wan in this show. I know for 100% fact he will not interact with Obi-Wan.
Because of the end of his character in Rebels.
Yes.
So, I'm hesitant to say that Darth Maul will be in the show. I could see Ahsoka, though.
The reason being is that we're seeing the origins of the Inquisitors, and we know canonically one Inquisitor dies to Ahsoka and another dies to Maul before we see them in Rebels. So I'm wondering if they will be alive in this show before they inevitably meet their deaths at the hands of Maul and Ahsoka. And I believe the ones that were killed is the ninth sister and the second brother? Second or sixth brother? One of the two.
Actually, I take that back, mostly because of the existence of Solo. Mostly because we need to know why the hell Disney is still pushing this character.
Yeah.
So, I hate to say it, but now we have to see Maul. In one way or another before his death.
I think, if anything, the best thing to do would be seeing the criminal underworld developing, which this is going to be a huge deep cut, but this is a huge deep cut, but I want this character to show up in the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, because no one fucking remembers him, but I remember him, and I think it'd be really fucking cool, which is a character named Reiko Hardy. And I'm going to spoil this for you, because it's absolutely batshit insane, but there is a story arc in the Clone Wars where Obi-Wan fakes his death by getting assassinated by a bounty hunter called Rako Hardeen. So then the Jedi have pretext to arrest Rako Hardeen. So then they can literally do Tom Cruise's face off and swap their faces. So then that Obi-Wan is pretending to be Rako Hardeen, and Rako Hardeen is now the dead Obi-Wan. So then Obi-Wan has to then join a group of bounty hunters involving Cad Bane, so they can actually infiltrate Naboo, so they can assassinate Palpatine. And Obi-Wan is trying to stop the plan. Meanwhile, Anakin and Ahsoka legitimately believe Rako Hardeen killed Obi-Wan, so they're tracking down Obi-Wan they're tracking down Rako Hardeen trying to kill him.
Okay. First off, it's Nick Cage, not Tom Cruise.
Fuck.
Second of all, you're right, that is batshit insane.
It's absolutely batshit insane. But the biggest thing is that at the end of the arc, we still have Rako Hardeen in prison, and I want to know what happened to Rako Hardeen, and I think it would be amazing if he shows up in the show and fights Obi-Wan again. He was known as the Sniper of Concord Dawn, which is really interesting because Concord Dawn is where Jango Fett is from. So, if it's not here, bring him in The Mandalorian. Bring him in something. Just give us Rako Hardeen, please. It's a deep cut. No one fucking remembers Rako Hardeen. The arc itself was kind of mid, but still do it.
Okay. Well, I think that summarizes our excitement for this show.
Rako Hardeen for Obi-Wan Kenobi, please. Get it trending on Twitter. God, I got that in my mind one day, and I was like, you know what? Rako Hardeen could work.
No. This was neglected in Boba Fett, and so we need to bring it here. Bring Watto back.
Yes. In fact, yes, that too.
Bring Watto back.
Well, it actually makes sense why Watto didn't show up in this show, in Boba Fett, because Watto is in Mos Eisley, which is far from Mos Espa and Freetown. However, Luke does live closer to Mos Eisley and Anchorhead, so Watto better fucking show up.
Bring Watto back.
Yes. Another character that could show up, but I don't have hope, but I would love, our favorite Jamaican space pirate, Hondo Anaka. You will learn to love him when you watch Clone Wars and Rebels. But I want our favorite Jamaican space pirate. Please give us Hondo. Hondo, Wada, and Rako Hardeen, please.
All right. That should round out our media segments for today.
Yes, so that is our media segments. So, which one do you want to start with? I want to start with the Ukraine stuff.
Yeah, let's go ahead and touch on Ukraine real quick. So,
wait, that's the wrong one.
So we don't want to touch
That's
on.
also the wrong one. That's
you gonna find it soon. We gotta start the segment off nice. Come on, work with me.
Wait. Oh, I'm done. There it is!
Okay, so we want to touch on something that most people recognize as rainbow capitalism, but instead of it being for Pride Month, we are seeing it utilized for the Russia-Ukraine situation, and thus corporations are now utilizing the yellow and blue flag as their virtue signal to support Ukraine.
And the most egregious example that I found, and that is why it's on your screen, is stuff like this. OnlyFans.
This is beyond weird.
This is OnlyFans' actual current logo. If you go onto OnlyFans right now, go to your favorite OnlyFans supporter, whatever, that is what you'll be seeing. The Ukraine OnlyFans in the color of the Ukrainian flag, and I think this is a problem. And the reason why I think it's a problem is because it's fucking stupid. So here's the thing. A lot of, if you've seen it in the news, a lot of countries have been sanctioning Russia as a result of their invasion of Ukraine, which is normal and fine. Now, the problem is corporations pulling businesses out of Russia.
And we've talked about this last week, how we have problems with companies like PayPal, Apple, and many other companies that are essential to lower class life in Russia. and now it's just going to make their suffering a whole lot worse.
Yeah.
Which
McDonald's is pulling out. Did you see that?
I did see that.
Yeah, McDonald's is pulling out of Russia, which at this point is now, in my opinion, just cruel for cruelty's sake.
Yeah. So, because ultimately they want to shut down the economy without helping out the people who actually oppose Russia inside their population. Now, while yes, it does help the war effort, it still means the suffering of countless millions of lives.
Yeah,
but we don't want to harp on that too much, because if you want to know our opinions of that in full detail, you can go back to our last few weeks' episodes where we touch on that in full. Now, what we're talking about is the actions of companies here in America.
Yeah. So a big thing that is really, in my opinion, disgusting is that they like Pride Month, where it's just such a meme where corporations, as soon as June 1st hits, it's fucking rainbow logos everywhere. The moment July 1st hit, it's back to business.
Yes.
And I feel like we're seeing this now with the Ukraine situation. And just like rainbow capitalism, on one hand, it's a positive in the sense that it's normalizing support for Ukraine.
Because ultimately, it's a reflection on us as a society saying that, yes, that the popular, the popular signal to express is the support for the Ukrainian citizens.
And that's what makes it profitable. And that's why capitalist organizations do this. And the reason why it's problematic, though, is that it's so superficial.
Because immediately you can tell that it's not genuine. They're doing this just to make another buck.
Exactly. Think about it like this. Like, you'll have, for example, like, PayPal, for example. PayPal says they support Ukraine. But do they really support Ukraine? Because the only thing they did is just pull out of Russia. Like, it's kind of...
Which is great, but now the Russian civilians cannot get money for aid from their relatives outside of Russia.
Yeah.
Which is like cool.
Yeah. Or even Nintendo. Today they announced that they are delaying the release of the Advance Wars remasters because of the fact that it is insensitive for the current time period.
Which, that's a fair reason.
It's a fair thing. My problem with it, though, is that the fact of the matter is that we don't know how long this war is going to be. And you will release the game. You will release it. You're not going to not release it. So my feelings are kind of like, did they really delay it because it was actually insensitive? Or are they delaying it because they want to give the impression that they believe it could be sensitive?
Yeah, ultimately...
Like, I feel it's a bit disingenuous. Even, like, groups like the Pokemon Company, they donated $200,000 for Ukraine, which on one hand is really cool, but on the other hand, it's the Pokemon Company. You're a multi-billion-dollar company. Like, you are actually the multi-billion-dollar company, not Game Freak. You are. You could have done more than $200,000.
But ultimately, it's the best thing we've seen come out of any business so far.
I know, which is really sad.
Yeah.
It's not legitimate support. It's fake. It's
because
literal virtue signal.
Let's be honest here. They're doing it for their taxes.
Yes, it's just a tax write-off. For some of them, it's a tax write-off. For others, it's free advertising.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
All right.
But I think it's a problem. And I think it's one that we should always, as leftists, have our eye on. We should have our eye on the fact that corporations are not our friends. They are not your friends. Corporations do what is in their best interest to make money. And in this situation, they are feigning support for a legitimate tragedy because it allows them to make money. And I just want it to be known that we should not be falling for that and thinking it is genuine. Because this is not genuine. OnlyFans changing their logo to the Ukrainian flag isn't really support. It's an aesthetic. What is OnlyFans actually doing to say they support Ukraine? What is more meaningful? Changing your logo? Or saying a portion of, if you subscribe to our creators on OnlyFans, a portion of that subscription that we take will be sent to a charity to help Ukrainian refugees. That would actually be something OnlyFans would be doing to support Ukraine.
Yeah.
But they aren't. It's much easier, though, to just paint your logo yellow and blue and say, "Go Ukraine."
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of disgusting when it's from a corporation. When it's people, individuals, it's one thing. Usually individuals can't do too much. But when it's corporations, my standards are very high. And so, yeah.
Yeah. Again, ultimately, the same criticisms as Rainbow Capitalism, but this is a little more insidious.
Yeah. It's a little bit more insidious because the other side of the coin is that other people are actually suffering. No one truly suffers when corporations change their logos from regular to pride color and say, "Go Pride."
Yeah.
But there is something more insidious when people do this shit for Ukraine while also turning around and completely fucking over your average Russian civilian who has no part in this war. Like, sanctions are one thing. Even the ban of Russian oil is another thing. Those things are things that suck, and they do hurt your average person, but hurt the oligarchs more. But the shit with PayPal, and the shit with McDonald's, and a bunch of streaming services are pulling out of Russia.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
Because, again, those don't impact the oligarchs. So that doesn't impact government. Putin will not give a damn if they can't see Book of Boba Fett.
Exactly. Also, like, yeah, it's just so dumb. It's really dumb, it's really stupid, it's really harmful, and I just felt it was kind of important to touch on this fact, because we've been talking about Russia, Ukraine, and I feel if we want to be very balanced and always talking about, like, the pros and cons of what this war is, it would be remiss of us not to bring up that this is happening here at home.
Yeah.
And this is something you should legitimately be condemning America and American companies for doing in this war. This is a legitimate criticism, as it's something they've actively been doing. Unlike other manufactured criticisms, such as, why does Germany have more refugees than America? Oh, I don't know, maybe there's a fucking ocean in between Ukraine and America.
Well, that pretty much wraps up our opinions on that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So then our next one, we will be talking about...
Let's talk about Florida, everybody.
Yes, so while we have the Don't Say Gay thumbnail from our last podcast, we are keeping it here because it is now official. It did pass.
And will most likely inevitably be signed by Governor Ron DeSantis.
I believe... Did he not sign it today?
He did not sign it today. I believe it just passed every single body that it has to in order for him to sign it.
Okay, which we know he will sign.
He will definitely sign this, which is... Oh boy, I feel bad for all of the LGBTQ people in schooling.
Yeah. Like, it's really, in my opinion, pretty fucking disgusting. Once again, this is not about in any way protecting children, as we established firmly last episode. Republicans love raping children. This is more about power and being cruel for cruelty's sake.
And let's be honest here. They care so much about trans kids committing suicide. This is going to increase it so much.
Yeah, because their care is not about stopping trans suicide. It's about increasing it.
Yeah.
Or
not even increasing it. They want to eliminate trans as a concept.
Yeah, which means more trans suicide.
Which means if it has to be through suicide, that's fine by them.
Yeah.
Stop finishing my sentences.
Okay, fine.
Stop finishing my goddamn sentences.
Fine.
You don't let me get to my point. I know I stutter a lot.
Okay.
I'm getting to a point here.
Every time you pause, I think you finished your sentence. But yes. No, this is just meant to hurt trans kids. It's meant to just eliminate them entirely. It's meant to just be a virtue signal, because you have to remember that Republicans lose the culture war a lot on a lot of issues. And one thing that seems to consistently get them support is trans issues. Because it's something...
Not even that, just hatred in general.
I mean, hatred in general, but trans issues nowadays.
That's what's winning the culture war now for them.
Yeah,
Because-
specifically because transphobia is more normalized than homophobia was. Specifically through the fact that you can approach transphobia from multiple angles. You can do it through the child abuse angle, you can do it via the conservative Christian angle, but you can also do it via the TERF angle, which I think is something that,
because
when it came to homophobia, you really only had so few arguments. But with transphobia, you still have so few arguments, but you can dress it up in different ways.
Yeah.
And there's a lot more public support for transphobia. Let it be known, J.K. Rowling, massive bitch, is one of the most outspoken transphobes on the fucking planet.
Hey, you can't say that. You can't say that. That's sexist towards a feminist icon.
J.K. Rowling, you could suck my dick. The fact that she doesn't consider trans women to be women, the fact that she constantly pushes this rhetoric that disproportionately affects trans people, the fact that all this different shit, fuck J.K. Rowling. Fuck Ron DeSantis. Fuck this entire bill. And it's not just happening in Florida. I believe Idaho just passed a bill which would make it illegal via life sentence to bring your kid for gender reaffirming therapy, and also illegal via life sentence to cross state lines to give your kid gender reaffirming therapy.
I did hear about that, yeah.
Yeah, which is fucking insane. That is directly unconstitutional, and I hope the courts strike it down.
Yeah, and ultimately what's most... let's return back to Florida here. What's most insidious is the fact that they use by-state standards in the language of the bill. Because by-state standards means, basically whatever the fuck we want it to mean.
Yeah, because, states' rights.
Yeah.
I say with quotation marks. It's the same reason why why parents get away with faith healing when it's child abuse.
Yeah. But we didn't want to just touch on the Don't Say Gay bill, because, again, we've addressed this before in previous episodes. We just want to touch on the insidious things that are happening in Florida as a whole.
Yes, because another thing is that Florida has become the first state to actively recommend against vaccinating your children.
And I know last week we teased a segment on whether or not it's too early to celebrate COVID being gone. We'll just bundle that up in this segment here.
Yeah.
So, is it too early to celebrate COVID's demise?
Yes.
It is definitely way too early, because we should look up the death tolls right now. But the number of deaths that are happening right now were numbers that we were scared about in the first 3 months of the pandemic.
Yeah.
I guarantee it. So while Shiny's looking that up, we'll just go into the fact that now all 50 states have started to alleviate their masking mandates as far as COVID is concerned.
Yeah.
With, of course, Florida being the first, taking the lead and showing us that we're truly awful.
Yep.
Got any numbers for me?
Pulling it up. Just gonna take a second. Hold on. It's loading.
Is it in the 3 digits?
And it's still, come on. Oh my god, this is... Okay, here we go.
Okay.
1,938.
U.S. deaths?
Today.
Oh, no.
No, in the last week.
Okay, in the last week. Are you able to find out daily numbers?
Oh, sorry. That was just in one county in Florida.
The one county in Florida?
Was 1,938.
I was asking for the U.S. Death rate.
Oh. Well. Hold on. So, U.S. death rate is
for today. I want the U.S. death rate for today.
That's looking about March 9th. Okay, so we're not gonna get it for today, but yesterday.
Then let's get yesterday.
819.
819?
Yes.
Oh no, I was wrong. Not the first 3 weeks. This was like into the first year of the pandemic.
Yeah, that's 1819 today. Florida, as of last week,
Okay, so that county number was for the week, right? For it to be in the thousands.
yeah. So
Okay.
Florida confirmed deaths 71,397.
For the week? Because you're giving me a number higher than the U.S. death toll.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I think it's overall.
Oh, overall.
It may be overall.
7,100,000, you said, right?
Yeah, 71,397. I think that's overall.
Okay, 71,000. Okay, overall.
But
Which makes
we
sense.
still have had over 1,000 deaths in Florida from COVID since the last week.
Okay. So with all of those numbers being interpreted, no, COVID's not over yet. We still have over 800 people dying a day, which, like I said, were numbers we were scared about a year into the pandemic.
Yeah, on, what was it? See, in Florida, on Monday, March 7th, we had 536 deaths.
Okay. Wow. Well, now that we have all those numbers realized and in our heads, let's go ahead and regroup into the segment being about Florida being the first state to take the charge and eliminating mask mandates.
Yes. And
actually,
so,
no. It was the first state. I was completely wrong. It was the first state to actively advocate against vaccinating children.
Yes. Because our Surgeon General, who is, of course, a fucking idiot, has decided that he will take the fringe study of, I believe it's not even like a fully published journal, saying that it's not good to vaccinate your children. He is taking that over the gigantic library of information to the contrary. So, yeah, Florida fucking sucks. And just to let you know that this isn't a systemic thing. Recently in Polk County, Florida, a teacher decided to bite 2 of her students for a jar of fucking pickles. Listen, I'm gonna say this. I know I'll get hate for this. Pickles fucking suck. Pickles are not good. Pickles are low-key trash. So, this bitch, why the fuck are you biting kids for fucking pickles? That shit's not even good. What is wrong with you? Why are you so fucking dumb?
I was afraid he was going to bring this up.
Like, this is just to show you that Florida is just dumb as shit across the board. Like, it ain't just our governors. It's literally just everyone. Like, Florida is just dumb. I fucking hate it. I hate it here. So, Florida sucks for a multitude of reasons. We want LGBT kids to kill themselves because, Ron DeSantis is fucking evil. We are making sure that kids will be more likely to die from COVID because Ron DeSantis is fucking evil. And, we relaxed our mask mandates, so we will continue to have this virus here because, once again, Ron DeSantis is fucking evil. But also, to go back to the Don't Say Gay bill, I want to tie this back to Disney because Disney has supported the Don't Say Gay bill.
You're kidding.
They have. They've been very much supporting financially all proponents of the Don't Say Gay bill. So, I would like to say a resounding fuck you to Disney. Because, yeah, fuck you. This is why I pirate Disney Plus. I don't pay shit for your fucking streaming service. Bitch! So, yeah, no, fuck Disney because they're supporting this. And this is on the heels of them saying that they support LGBT youth and that they're always looking to inspire more LGBT youth, which is why I'm really happy that the creator of The Owl House, which is on Disney, has came out and basically said, fuck Disney for what they're doing to LGBT kids. And I hope more Disney creators come out and say this because LGBT staff and creators have been the backbone of Disney. They are literally, like, what was it? There was an LGBT animator who was literally part of the renaissance of Disney animation. And this is how they slapped him in the face. They're making a Where's Waldo movie. First of all, why the fuck would you make a Where's Waldo movie? But apparently there's supposed to be LGBT characters in the Where's Waldo movie. Well, clearly you don't give a fuck about LGBT people because when it comes to actually supporting LGBT youth, you are like, fuck them. Let them kill themselves. They're not giving us enough money at Magic Kingdom. So, fuck Disney.
Yeah. Okay. So that covered the two political segments of the night. Now, I am aware Shiny has a surprise for me.
Yes. So, Sovereign, as you know, we are Pokemon fans.
Yes.
My name, if you didn't realize when you look at our email, my name is actually Shiny Pokemon Incorporated. That's my full name. And so, we love Pokemon.
Yes.
And as you see right here, this is a picture of a shiny Galarian Zapdos.
Yes.
Now, Sovereign really wants to get all the shiny legendaries that you can obtain from the various the VGC International Championships that you can do online. And so, for March, they're giving out a shiny Galarian Zapdos for all of the people that participate in the March International Challenge.
But here's the problem. I don't have a team. I only have 2 Pokemon that I want for sure in my team, and their movesets aren't even finished.
Yes.
So, what we are going to do
is that today, folks, live, and unfortunately, for those who will be listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts, you will not see the visual component for this, but we will be doing a live team building segment on stream,
which will be our first video game technical playthrough, or technically a playthrough of any video game on stream. So definitely enjoy, everybody.
Yes, this is a first, and it's going to be really exciting. So let me just change the view, and we are going to take away the picture of Zapdos and put in this. Okay. And then
you got to definitely maximize the actual thing itself.
Yes. There we go.
And then actually see if it's streaming properly. Yep, it looks pretty good. Okay.
So as you can see here, we are on Pokemon Showdown, and the team is for March IC 2022. And so here we have the team builder. So
to start out with,
yes,
the 2 Pokemon that I want. So I want to show off my new shiny Zacian that I got from the event. So we're using that one as our mainstay here. Because this is VGC 2022. You gotta have a Zacian on your team.
Yes. And it will be shiny?
It will be shiny.
So we'll do that. And what will you be naming this Zacian?
Oh god, I haven't even thought of names yet. Let's skip that for now.
Fine. So,
because we have a lot to get through in very limited amount of time.
Yes. So obviously,
we gotta have Behemoth Blade.
Behemoth Blade. Play rough.
Play rough, definitely. Protect as well. Gotta have that for sure.
Protect. And what will be your last move?
Sacred Sword.
Sacred Sword. Yes. Okay. Pretty good. And are we doing the standard?
Max 252 to attack and speed.
And then where's the last 4 going to?
HP. Thankfully, this is one that I've already bred on, or not bred, I'm sorry, this one that I've already EV trained.
On cartridge?
On cartridge, so it is already adamant.
And adamant. So that is our first one.
Next up, Blastoise.
Yes, so this is an odd pick for sure. And it's going to be a Gmax Blastoise, am I right?
Yes, Gmax Blastoise, and it already is going to have Modest and...
What is the item?
Oof, that's what I don't know. I don't know what to go on. See, I was juggling Adrenaline Orb as the weird pick.
But I have suggested an Adrenaline Orb set for Sovereign to use that we will show you later.
Yes. Give me 1 second. Let me pull up Blastoise's data here real quick.
Yes.
Because I want to see what people are opting for. Because surprisingly, Blastoise is actually pretty usable because it's got 5% usage in this season.
Yeah.
So it's not obscure, but it's on the lower end.
Yeah.
So as far as what people are using, Walk-on Berry for Regieleki, but I don't know if I want to lean that route. Then they've got Mystic Water, Life Orb, Assault. Oh.
Do you think Assault Vest would go? If you want to go an all-out attacker?
Because so as far as the EVs are concerned, I've already maxed out or special attack and HP.
Okay, so 252.
And 252.
252.
And the rest going into special defense.
Well, if that's the case, do you think you should go with Assault Vest?
Let's do it. Let's do
Okay.
Assault Vest. I don't have an Assault Vest planned out yet. Let's do it.
So we'll do Assault Vest. Torrent or Randish?
Mine has Torrent.
Torrent. Okay. Gender.
Male.
And Shiny?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, the rest are not going to be shiny.
Okay, so
Unless we decide somehow Abominable Snow makes sense in this set, which it doesn't.
Yeah. So Hydro Cannon.
It's got to be Hydro Cannon.
Because Gmax Cannonade needs to do massive damage.
I don't know if I want to go Blizzard. I'm not sure about that.
Let's see. What other moves do you think you would use for coverage? Let's look at good special moves. So we have Aura Sphere, we have Blizzard, we have Dark Pulse, we have Dragon Pulse, we have Focus Blast, we have Ice Beam, Icy Wind for speed control if you really want to go that way. We have Muddy Water, but I think we have Muddy Water if you want to do spread
here's
damage.
the thing. I don't need Aura Sphere for Incineroar. That's the one thing.
Yeah.
Because Incineroar is the biggest threat, and Hydro Cannon takes care of both Incineroar and Landorus.
Yeah.
So I don't even need Aura Sphere. Or Aura Sphere doesn't really help me out. It doesn't even help me out against Zacian.
Yeah.
So I'm seeing here Blizzard's being utilized as a coverage set a lot of the times.
Which I think works.
Yeah, Blizzard could work.
Blizzard.
And then I'm seeing a lot of Dark Pulse. I think that takes about a lot. That takes care of Dusknoir, right?
It takes care of Dusclops. It takes care of Calyrex Shadow and Calyrex Ice.
Let's do it. Dark Pulse it is.
Dark Pulse. And then what will be your last move? You can't run
Fake Out.
Fake Out.
Fake Out.
Choice.
A lot of people are running Fake Out. It's got a 22% usage, so let's do it. I am all for this full aggro set. Not gonna lie.
It looks pretty good. So now let us do the set that I suggested. It's a bit out there.
Yes.
But I suggested when he brought up using Adrenaline Orb, I suggested that he uses a Defiant Thunderous Incarnate holding the Adrenaline Orb. Reason being is that when you're intimidated, Adrenaline Orb boosts your speed. Well, Defiant boosts your attack by 2 stages if a stat is lowered. So theoretically, you lead off with a Thunderous and you face off against a lead Incineroar or Landorus, and well, now you're at +2 attack, +1 speed.
And they love to parting shot and U-turn.
So you are about to start wrecking house, because pretty quickly you will spiral out of control with Dynamax because your moves will be Wild Charge.
Wild Charge without a doubt.
Fly.
Yes.
Because your max airstreams will hurt like a bitch. You will have Brick Break. Is that correct?
Yes.
So you'll have Brick Break, so you can get the max up.
So the last slot is weird. Remind me what Eerie Impulse does again?
So, Eerie Impulse. Let me scroll down. Eerie Impulse lowers the Tarlar special attack by 2 stages. I think it works better on Regielekis, personally.
Yeah. Let's think.
I think Regieleki and Tapu Koko run Eerie Impulse better because while 111 speed isn't slow, it's also not fast compared to Tapu Koko, Regieleki, and anything with Prankster.
So there are a few options here. There is Superpower.
Which, if you do Superpower, I'd recommend getting rid of Brick Break.
Then let's keep Brick Break on there, honestly.
Yeah.
There's Electro Web.
Electro Web.
Actually, you know what? Let's keep Protect on here. Let's just put Protect on here. These are good moves as is.
Yeah. I personally prefer running Superpower on my Thunderous versus Brick Break, just because power, and also it is a higher power if you want to do Max Knuckle, because Max Knuckle is weaker on average than all your other Dynamax moves.
Yeah. Well, this is a Pokemon I would use if Gmax Blastoise doesn't make sense.
True.
So, actually, you know what? Let's put Superpower on here.
I think Superpower is the better
This is the sub for Blastoise anyway. Let's put Superpower
I think Superpower works better than that. Okay. Especially because you'll still have the speed boosts.
Yes.
So
this is going to be a Jolly.
Yes, because we're going full Speed Demon here.
Yeah. Looks like the most common set is max attack, max speed, and then HP investment.
Yes. So we got Jolly, we got 252 attack, and HP?
4.
Perfect. Shiny?
Actually, hold on. Is it 4? That's the remainder?
Yeah, it's 4.
Yeah, remaining 0. Okay.
So, shiny?
No. Yeah.
Okay.
Only Zacian needs to be shiny.
Okay.
So we've got our 2 Gmaxes and we've got our legendary. Let's think of what my second restricted mon could be.
Yes, so I think you need something with a... So, given how this team is working, you have 3 really offensive Pokemon.
Yes.
I'm thinking you need a Pokemon that's good at taking hits that also cover the weaknesses of Zacian and Blastoise. In my opinion, a good Pokemon to help you is Ho-Oh.
Really?
So the reason why I'm thinking Ho-Oh is because, 1, Thundurus is weak to Ice, Rock, and that's about it, right?
See, my original thought was a Veltal.
So Veltal could work as well. The reason why I was thinking Ho-Oh is mainly grass coverage, it blocks, and Zacian's really only weak to fire and ground, and Ho-Oh stops that.
Yeah, let's look at our legendaries here and see what we're looking at. Actually, you know what? Let's see here.
So I actually have them right here. So your restricted legendaries are Calyrex Normal, absolutely not. You have Calyrex Ice Rider, Calyrex Shadow Rider, Cosmoem, no. Cosmog, no. You have Dialga, Eternatus, Giratina, Giratina Origin, Groudon, Ho-Oh, Kyurem, Kyurem Black, Kyurem White, Lugia, Lunala, Mewtwo, Necrozma, Necrozma Dawnwings, Necrozma Duskmane, Palkia, Rayquaza, Reshiram, Solgaleo, Xerneas, Veltal, Zacian, Hero of Many Battles, Zacian Crown, which you already have, Zamazenta, Hero of Many Battles, Zamazenta Crown, Zekrom, Zygarde, Zygarde 10%, and Zygarde Complete. So these are all your Pokemon. Now,
how about let's see what Palkia's.
I'm thinking of a more defensive one, but maybe Palkia could work.
What item did we give Blastoise again?
We gave Blastoise the Assault Vest.
Right. See, now that I'm thinking about it, would it make sense to... Actually, no. Safety goggles only would impact if we're fighting a Lucas, right?
Yeah. Or it also helps with sand.
In that case, I would just fake out whatever Pokemon's using Follow Me anyway.
Yeah, it would fit. Safety goggles is good against sand, hail, and powder moves. Yeah. Now, sand can come from Tyranitar, really only Tyranitar, or Max Rockfall. And hail can come from, well, Abomasnow. I really don't see any other hail setters being good in this one. Oh, Alolan Ninetales, that one actually could be good. Or Max Hailstorm. So, what are you thinking?
That is tough. Yeah, this second legendary is giving me some trouble here. See, I see a lot of people using Veltal, but at the same time, Palkia or Urshifu would benefit from Blastoise.
Urshifu's not restricted.
What?
Urshifu's not restricted.
Urshifu's not restricted?
No, you can use Urshifu regardless.
Huh.
If anything, I was wondering, would you go for the Nut Core?
What are you thinking?
The Nut Core is the core of Nihilego, Urshifu Single Strike Style, and Thundurus Incarnate.
Huh. I was kind of leaning...
However, that's a little too much offense,
yeah,
given the team that you have structured.
Because I also want to add
Grimmsnarl, exactly, which will be good as support.
I'm willing to add Rapid Strike on the team, but at the same time,
I think you need another special attacker.
I
is
do.
the thing, because as it stands right now, Well, yes, you have Zacian, which, if intimidated, just goes from +1 to normal, and Thunderous, well, if intimidated, goes to +2. I mean, intimidate doesn't seem.
So how about this? Let's go. Let's go. Grimmsnarl.
Okay, let's try in Grimmsnarl right now.
Because I think this is solidified that we're going Grimmsnarl.
Yes. Would you want it to be Gmax?
No.
Okay.
Grimmsnarl. Isn't Grimmsnarl worse Gmaxed?
To be perfectly honest with you, with the set you're running, it really doesn't matter.
You know what? If I happen to have enough Gmax soup, sure.
Yeah, I think it's better just because. It's funny, in my opinion. So, Light Clay, obviously.
Light Clay has to be on there.
Prankster, because your moves are going to be Light Screen, Reflect. I believe Spirit Break is the physical stab you want.
Yeah, a lot of people are using Spirit Break, yeah.
Yeah, because it's good for lowering special attacks.
Yeah. And then...
Taunt.
Yes.
Yeah. Some people run Thunderwave for speed control, which wondering if that is something you were looking for on your team.
Not really, especially if I've got Grimmsnarl already. They're going to be tanking hits. What's better, because I imagine a scenario where I'm up against two Pokemon.
Yeah.
I'm fighting a Dusclops and a Follow Me Center.
Yeah.
So what I'm thinking is, one, we got a Blastoise faking out that Pokemon, and then Grimmsnarl taunting the Dusclops or whoever it is. Because ultimately, what needs to happen is getting rid of the fake room center.
Yeah. The only thing you'd have to be worried about is Ally Switch. As I believe Ally Switch has higher priority than Prankster.
It does.
Yeah.
Yes. That'd
be the only thing you have to worry about. And Dusclops love to run Ally Switch.
Yeah. So, ultimately, that's just a big brain play that I gotta watch out for.
Yes. So,
I mean, ultimately, if I... Yeah. You got just something to watch out for, but...
What are you thinking for Eevees?
So,
I'm assuming you want this to be one to last more so than for its attacking power.
So one that I'm seeing a lot of is split defenses. So max HP.
Yeah. Which I think is pretty good.
And then a 140, 116 split.
140 defense?
Yes.
And then what is your nature?
I'm seeing careful on here.
I think careful works best because you really are using your special attack.
Yes.
That way you can get whatever little you can get. Oh yeah, wait, one thing to do for sure is we need to lower your IVs to 0 on your Blastoise. At least for the Showdown. Because follow me damage matters. You don't want to run into a fucking Thievul, or really anything with follow me that's faster will absolutely destroy your Thunderous. And Zacian can take it, but depending on how things go.
Oh, you mean foul play?
Yeah, foul play.
Yeah, okay.
Did I say something else?
You said follow me.
Shit, I meant foul play. Sorry. So yeah, so here is our 4 so far. We got Zacian, Blastoise, Thunderous, and Grimmsnarl.
And then let's put Palkia in the mix.
So you're going with Palkia.
Let's go Palkia.
Okay. Which ability? I'm thinking.
I really gain no benefits from telepathy, in all honesty.
I was going to say QB 1-1 Surf. Or I think it's called Breaking Spike. They're niche. They're niche.
But it only affects Palkia. It doesn't affect the Pokemon around Palkia.
Never mind, yeah. Why the fuck is telepathy... See, telepathy could have worked so much better if they made it so it also doesn't hurt its allies. Yeah, no, that's fucking stupid. Never mind. Pressure it is.
Yeah, pressure. So we're looking at Spatial Rend.
Oh, yeah, item. Are you doing Lustrous?
See, I'm seeing a lot more people using Life Orb, which is interesting. Okay. Which, I mean, is fine, but...
Lustrous Orb also works. Like, to be honest, like, Adamant and Lustrous Orbs actually do work pretty decently on VGC for the Sinnoh Legends, surprisingly enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lustrous Orb is the second most used. So, but you're going to go with Life Orb?
Let's go Life Orb.
Yeah. I would recommend that if you want your Pokemon to last more, you should go with Lustrous, though.
You know what? Well, because this is under the impression that I do keep my screens up. So let's go. Yeah, let's go Love.
Because the holders attack do 1.3 times damage, while this, your water and dragon type attacks, will do 1.2. So on this one, you get better coverage damage. While on this one, your Spatial Rend will do.
I'm willing to
less.
take the risk on Life Orb. Let's
Yeah.
go Life Orb.
I think Life Orb works. Lustrous just built to last. And obviously, we're doing Spatial Rend. And probably Hydro Pump,
Spatial Rend, Hydro Pump,
Earth Power.
and Protect.
Yeah.
I am seeing some Trick Rooms in here, but no thank you.
Yeah. So I'm guessing this one. Palkia has a
I think we should
decent.
play off Palkia's bulk, honestly.
Palkia is actually decently bulky with 120 special defense, 100 defense, and 90 HP.
Which, surprisingly, most of these sets aren't utilizing its special attack as far as its EV investment is concerned. Which,
Really, no, it isn't?
yeah, which, I mean, is interesting.
Wait, yes, it is. Wait,
Yeah,
no, it isn't.
It's not.
What?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Which I'm willing to deviate from that a little. But
I think you should definitely invest into your HP the most.
yes.
Because Dynamax is really important.
Yeah. So let's do, as far as this is concerned, let's do max HP.
Okay, so we're going max HP. So this thing is going to be alive for a while, especially with
And then
Dynamax, yeah.
I like this one here. This 140 defense, 116 special attack.
Ooh, 140 defense, 116. That could actually work
Because really,
Palkia already has a decent 120 special defense.
Yeah, and thus it matches his defense.
Yeah.
So I think that's the route.
Yeah. 0 attack IVs.
Yes.
And then
Modest.
Modest. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I was wondering if you were gonna do Modest or if you were gonna try and do like Careful or something. Not Careful, the one that boosts special defense but lowers your attack.
Oh, that's Bold.
No, I said special. That's fucking. There has to be one that boosts your special defense and lowers your attack. I'm just dumb and I'm not seeing it. Yeah, I'm just dumb and not seeing it. It's calm.
Okay.
That's what it is. But you're doing Modest.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. So that leaves our last Pokemon, which is what are we saying this one is?
So we got 2 special attackers, which are water types. So Gastrodon, which probably won't see much usage.
I feel like we already said what our last Pokemon was going to be.
Was it Urshifu?
Actually, I kind of want to stray away from Urshifu.
Yeah. Let's look through some Pokemon, see if they mesh.
Because ultimately, the main lead out will be Grimmsnarl, Blastoise, with Zacian and Palkia.
Oh, Clefairy.
I don't know if Clefairy meshes with this team that I'm building.
Wait. Actually, but that would make you have 3 fairies.
Exactly.
That would give you 3 fairies, though.
Let me look at.
Let me scroll.
What are some counters that I need to go up against, or some common Pokemon that I need to be able to counter, or common strategies?
I feel like you definitely want to be able to stop physical attackers outside of just having your screens.
Yeah.
So maybe a defensive intimidator.
Yeah, because ultimately Palkia doesn't need to be a mainstay.
Yeah.
Palkia just needs to be in the back to intimidate.
Well, not literally.
Not literally, of course.
Yeah. Let's see. Pokemon with Intimidate. Let's see. So you got Arcanine, you got Gyarados, you got Hitmontop, you got Incineroar, you got Crocodile, you got Lando, you got Luxray, you got Mawile, you got Salamence, you got Scrafty, you got Stoutland. And Tauros. And I don't think you're going for the NFEs. Huh, I didn't realize Overquill got Intimidate. And Weird Air. Huh.
No, those are illegal results.
No, I know. I didn't realize that they got it still.
Oh, wait. Do they actually get it?
Yeah, Overquill and Weird Air get Intimidate. Interesting. Anyways,
Oh yeah, because Masquerade's on there as well.
yeah.
So, so we have the option here of an intimidate center. Or
No.
actually, hold on. Maybe I want a response to an intimidate.
But that's already Thunderous.
That's already Thunderous. You're right.
Thunderous is already an intimidator response.
Because Thunderous doesn't need to stay. That Thunderous can be my backup for Blastoise if absolutely necessary.
Yeah, I'm thinking if you want to do an intimidator, Lando and Ensign.
It's right there.
Lando and Ensign, they're good at intimidating and they're good at getting you momentum with their parting shots and their U-turns.
Let's go Landorus, baby.
Okay, you choose Landorus. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's intimidating you. Item.
Let's see. We can't use Life Orb or Assault Vest.
Leftovers.
I'm actually not seeing a lot of usage for leftovers. How about we choice this thing?
Scarf.
Let's choice Scarf it, baby.
Choice Scarf. Okay. So obviously we got to do an earthquake.
Let's see here. Actually, does
it get high horsepower?
Actually, hold on.
I know Fly is definitely one you want to have, right?
Hold on.
Okay.
What if we run? No, it doesn't make sense to run a special set. Never mind.
Oh, absolutely not. Are you crazy?
People are running Earth Power on this thing. Don't judge me.
That's mainly for Lando Incarnate, though.
No. This is the Lando Theory.
I know, but still, don't run Earth Power on this fucking thing.
Yeah. No. Let's do. Actually, let's see here. I guess it could make sense. Yeah, let's do Fly Earthquake.
Okay.
Then we would have to run Telepathy on Palkia.
Oh my god.
So let's do Fly Earthquake, Rock Slide, and Protect. Actually, no. Nick's Rock Slide for U-turn. Actually, wait, no, this thing's scarfed. Never mind, U-turn and Rock Slide.
There we go. I was about to say, do you really want to protect with a choice Scarfer? It'd be really weird. So, would you change Palkia to telepathy?
It would be tough, but I would make it work somehow. Because I don't know how I'm gonna get a telepathy Palkia, but we'll see.
I mean, I have one.
You?
I have a couple actually.
How did you get?
I have multiple games that were available with that event.
With the event?
Yeah. It was a Gen 5 or Gen 6. I just know I have a couple Palkias with telepathy.
Well, shoot them my way. Oh my god.
Okay, so yeah, let's change this to telepathy. Landorus.
Okay.
What is your
Jolly?
Jolly?
Looks like we're going for the raw set here, boys.
What is it?
You know what?
2? 252? 4. So this is your team. So, we got Zacian, Blastoise, Thunderous, Grimmsnarl, Palkia, Landorus.
Oh yeah?
This is the team. Now, let us test drive it.
We're gonna test this team, huh?
Yep. So, first gameplay of the Worldwide Wednesday podcast. Okay.
So what do you got? We got. Obviously, they're going to lead with
Don't use the
Whimsicott.
mouse. I have not plugged it in because it's dead.
Okay, so they're leading. They're definitely going to lead with Whimsicott, and they're probably going to set up screens immediately.
Not. Well, yeah, but mainly through. Wait, could they? Aurora. It's not Auroraville.
It's Gmax.
Gmax Resonance.
Yeah. So I still want to test out leading Blastoise and Grimmsnarl.
Okay, so I would go with that.
And then let's keep Zacian in the back as well.
Yeah.
And then who should we bring out in the back? We do have a lot of physical attackers out there.
I say Landorus.
Let's go Lando. All right. So, as I suspected, leading with the Whimsicott and the Lapras. So,
Uh,
most likely, this thing's going to do something.
Tailwind, probably.
It's probably going to set up a Tailwind.
So,
And it's going to... Wait, that thing's got Prankster, too. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to fake out that one.
wait, why don't you fake out Lapras and taunt him?
He's going to come out with the Tailwind. Well, you know what? Yeah, let's fake out Lapras. And then let's...
Taunt.
Okay. Well, he can't coach now.
Yeah, there's no coaching. That's true.
He can't coach.
Okay, so that works out.
All right, now we Dynamax him, boys.
Okay, so you're Dynamaxing.
Gmax Cannonade against Zamazenta.
Yes. Lapras will not be taking Cannonade damage, I believe, now. And then I would Light Screen for sure.
For sure,
I
yeah.
would get the Light Screen up first.
Yeah.
Snarl.
Which is fine. We're fine with that.
Freeze Dry. Oh, this is why you're Assault Vested.
And then let's just keep it coming.
Okay. And then I would Spirit Break, actually, instead of setting up Reflect.
Yeah, I don't need it right now. I can set it
Wait,
up.
why would you Spirit Break Zamazenta? You should be Spirit Breaking,
Lapras?
Yes, because special attack.
That's right. Oh my god, you're right. Oh my god, this Grimmsnarl's bulky as hell.
Yeah.
All right, and then let's set up the Reflect now. I feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect timing too.
Okay. I would actually switch out your Blastoise after this.
You think so? Because
Yeah.
it's gonna Grassy Glide now.
Yeah, and I would bring out your Zacian.
You think Zacian?
Resist.
Oh yeah, that's right. And then let's go ahead and
Spirit Break the Lapras. Because you still want to make sure that it stays low.
Yeah.
Oh, I went to Grimmsnarl. Ooh, they double targeted it. Interesting.
Okay. Well, let's bring out another Fake Out then.
Yeah.
I'm gonna thank you, Blastoise. Come on out.
So you got Fake Out. So then, what are you thinking of doing?
I'm thinking of Sacred Sorting the Lapras.
I would actually do Behemoth Blade because it does more damage and you have Stab. Well, it's not Dynamax though.
Yeah, it's not Dynamax. So, and
he'd already wasted his Fake Out turn, so yeah.
Did I waste my Fake Out turn?
No, not you. I'm talking about Rillaboom.
Okay.
Yeah, you should definitely Fake Out the Rillaboom. Oh! Down to one.
So close.
This Assault Vest has been doing wonders for you.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Let's I'm gonna play rough the Rillaboom, and then hope I should outspeed him.
Grassy Glide?
That's right. I got Grassy Glide coming in.
I would want to finish off the I would go Behemoth Blade on Lapras just in case he switches.
Okay, yeah. And then should I switch to Landorus?
No, because Landorus can't take that.
Intimidate though.
Intimidate, yeah, do it actually.
Oh, okay.
Okay, well it's a good thing that we switched. Okay, so now we're at an interesting crossroads, because that thing is definitely tailwinding. So, I would...
Let's Behemoth Blade.
I would Behemoth Blade.
The Whimsicott.
Yes, and I would Fly. Because you need that invulnerability turn, do it on Lapras. Because... Ha!
Oh! I see. Good catch.
I knew it. You needed that invulnerability turn. That's why I told you should do it with a Fly. Okay. Now, Sacred Sword Zamazenta.
Yes, definitely.
Wait. No, actually. Back up. Switch. Go to Blastoise, get rid of Parasol.
That is, yeah, you're 100% right.
Yes.
Nice.
Perfect. Perfect!
Oh, it's all falling together.
Yes, now Rillaboom's out. Okay,
And
fake
then
out Rillaboom.
Oh yeah, that's right. I can fake him out.
Yeah, fake out the Rillaboom and fly again. At Rillaboom.
Oh, this is too good. And then next turn switch into Zacian.
Yes. Okay, he fakes out you, which is fine.
Which is perfectly fine.
Because the point is to get you up. Okay.
And
go.
now I switch out.
Yes.
And then fly. And thankfully Reflect is still up.
Yes. This will be your last turn of Reflect, though, but it's good enough.
Yeah, it helps Zacian tank the hit.
Yep.
Yep.
There we go. And it's
down.
Perfect.
It's down.
Perfect. Now all you got to do is Sacred Sword. And fly, because that's all you can do. And there we have it, ladies and gentlemen.
First match on stream, and I have won.
Yep. So, that is just a taste of what you see.
And now, I'm going after my spiky chicken. Gonna get that Galarian Zapdos, baby.
Yes. So, I think this was really fun to do, actually.
Yeah.
It's really fun to team build, and really fun to do this battle on stream. Yep. It's good to know that, despite having not played on the VGC ladder in a while, that I still have the moves to predict some things, make sure the right plays are made.
Yeah, I mean, that Parrish song call was really good.
Yeah, I knew he was going to do something against the Landorus. I was expecting more of a Hydro Pump or an Ice Beam, but I knew Landorus has got to get in the air. So
it was a good thing we scarfed that thing, too.
Exactly, because you definitely would have gone down with the Tailwind up.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and then also to switch out the Zacian to make sure Parasong doesn't get trapped you in anything.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Honestly, those screens helped out in a big way.
Yeah, they really did. That's why dual screens Grimstyle with Light Clay, phenomenal.
All right, we've got the team set up.
Yep.
I think that's a good way to end the stream.
Yep. So, thank you for showing up to our first gameplay. Probably does not sound all that fun for those listening on Spotify or all the other apps, but if you're watching on stream, it's probably a bit fun. So, thank you very much, everyone, for watching. I am sorry about my voice. Allergies are awful for both of us.
Yeah.
But luckily for him, he got to keep his voice.
Yeah, they pretty much all cleaned up today. But at the same time, my teeth are struggling because I had my teeth cleaned today at the dentist.
See, I had to go to my doctor for massage therapy because of my back.
And now they're telling me that it's that time to take out the wisdom teeth.
Same, I have to get my wisdom teeth taken out too. So, yeah, if there's a week where we're not there, it may be a week or 2 weeks. Probably it will be for one when he gets his out, and one when I get mine out. So expect at least 2 weeks in the future where there won't be an episode because one of us will be in recovery.
All right. I think that about wraps up this episode here.
Yeah, a nice 2.5 hour episode.
Yep, very nice. As always, you can catch us every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. I've been your host, Sovereign.
And I'm Shiny.
And we're signing off for the night.